That's interesting, though. You can spend XP during a quarter day when you rest or sleep. So technically, you could spend XP while you're foraging.
Just so nice and restful out in the nature when you're collecting roots and things. What is the Elvish name for carrot? Because there's no Latin. So it's interesting because I haven't seen that the game says anything about different languages for different peoples. There's nothing about that.
Yeah, I think a lot of that stuff is probably up to how much work the game master wants to put into things, or whether you just want everybody to speak common.
Yeah, pretty much. It would make sense linguistically, I think, that there's lots of different languages that are really hard to mutually understand because everybody's been isolated from each other for 300 years. But I'm going to claim hand wave on that and just go with it because that would really add, like, rules complications and whatnot.
We've also been out in the world for at least a couple of years because we were captured for so long, so we've probably picked up common at the very least.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And yeah, again.
Years ago when I was in university, I played D&D with two brothers who had traveled the world. Their dad worked for one of the diplomatic sections, and they each spoke like 4 languages. So when they played D&D, they'd be like, Elvish is French, and German is Dwarf, and then they would have conversations in these languages.
Which is pretty cool.
It was cool, and then they found out that one of the other players, without their knowing, was actually fluent in German and wrote Dwarvish down on his character sheet with the game master's approval. So he would just listen into the conversations.
That's awesome. Well, that's one of the things I want to do for if I ever do when I do a New Year Zero grand campaign, the different sort of kins, for lack of a better word, for that. I mean, it's the mutated humans, it's the anthropomorphic animals, it's the robots, and it's the non-mutated humans. And I wanted that to come across in the, not necessarily language, but vocabulary and mannerism of language between the different ones, right? So robots could be a bit, synthetic. Animals should probably mix in a lot of animalistic sounds. The non-mutated humans have an education, so they should sound a bit sophisticated, whereas the mutated humans who never got an education should sound like something out of Cloud Atlas, that future village that Tom Hanks is in. Well, he's in lots of different characters there, but yeah, they have that special speak that is very, pigeony and truncated and very short words that are like 1 or 2 syllables max. And I think that would be pretty neat to get that across, but that's going to take some workshopping.
Along the same lines, I was reading an article or a post or something about a game that happened, and a girl was afraid she wouldn't be able to play because she didn't speak English. She spoke Spanish and was only learning English. So they had her ranger be Elven and had Spanish be Elvish, and she was only learning Common so that it worked out in-game.
live with Forbidden Lands, Session 10, everyone. How did we get there?
Session 10.
Yes, indeed. And, wow, yes. Long journey ahead of you, as well as behind you. Introductions. Joshua first, I guess, because you're at the top left of my Zoom screen.
Sounds good. Josh Point. I currently play Brainar, the frailer half-elf, and yeah, that's basically it.
I'm Jessica, and I play Frida, the very, very angry wolfkin. And that's me.
I'm Chris. I'm playing Soren, the human woodsman. I'm not angry, I'm sullen.
My name is Michaela McNeil. I play Beg. She's not angry, just too mouthy. Trying to work on that though, a little bit.
And
You're such a dysfunctional group.
and Mike B will
Orthodox.
be with us shortly. Again, as everybody should be aware of by now, this show is rated R, fantasy western, as if directed by Quentin Tarantino. Expect lots of blood, I guess. Though we haven't had a fight for a little while now. And all sorts of sordid actions and cruelty in this grim and dark world. Also, Hellhag Productions has done just about all the graphics. I actually created a map myself that we might use this session. I don't know. For once, because I wanted to try out one of those programs. We'll see how that works out. But otherwise, yeah. And of course, as you saw in the intro, Alve has very graciously granted us permission to use the official Forbidden Lands soundtrack for this stream. So thank you very much, and go check it out because it's absolutely awesome.
It's great. I love games that do soundtracks.
Yeah, it just does so much for the atmosphere, I find. So that's exactly what we'll be using tonight, in fact. And also, every once in a while, tabletop audio, which comes with Roll20, because that's nice. Last session, do we want to do a synopsis, perhaps? I usually do these, but maybe I can invite you to do it as well.
Go ahead there, Big. You're our minstrel.
The bard does it, yes. That's very... We're not expecting you to write a song for every session.
Yeah, no, not really. Yeah, but lots been happening for sure. Right now, I think we're still in the woods.
Yes, indeed.
After meeting up with a friendly band of helpless homeless people.
Yes,
because it's
yes,
totally
that
how
was
it
towards
happened.
the very end there of last session, for sure.
Yeah, that was super fun. We had just left an elven glade filled with super helpful people that are totally not, going to hurt us in the end. I'm sure of it. Suspect the elf and, trust the vagabond humans with axes.
Mm. The vagabond humans did not have a good demeanor to them. Though your smooth talking there certainly calmed things down and allowed you to get through that evening, strange meal that you offered them without any type of bloodshed at all. And also, of course, let's not forget that you are in fact on a quest now to find an elven ruby from the Eye of the Rose, a headquarters or capital or lair, who knows how we should describe this, of orcs. And apparently the emperor or empress has this elven ruby, so that could be interesting to see if that's going to work out. Other red runners, elven red runners, have gone before you to do some scouting, maybe. You split up anyway. And here you are. It's the edge of the forest. You have the lake straight south of you. It is Springrise 18th now. This is the morning of Springrise 18th. And I think your plan was to try to cross the river and basically continue your journey. But I'm not sure, so you'll have to tell me.
Yeah, I mean, there's Fort Riverstone isn't too far from here. If you guys want to swing by and pick up some supplies, or burn down any buildings you didn't destroy last time.
You know.
I think we got everything.
Alright, so yeah, we'll need to check that river and see if there's a way to ford it, and then we'll skirt northwards around the lake. It's both, I think it's shorter to the Eye of the Rose that way, but it also completely avoids Fort Riverstone.
Option for you guys. If you want to, you can roll a d12 to check out the weather, or I could do. I found an interesting little device on the workshop that I encourage other people to look at. It's one of these sort of hex flowers for weather determination. Very neat.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Somebody go ahead, roll a d12.
Okay.
That's a 3. Which tells me that you're...
You can totally blame Brainer.
It is...
That's right.
Sunny, but also windy today.
Oh,
So it keeps being
excellent.
Could be
it
helpful.
keeps being sunny, but there is a wind that has picked up, and it's fairly strong wind compared to yesterday, at least. Now, of course, you being in a forest, that's not going to be a big bother for you. You can see the waves. If you get close enough to the lake, you would be able to see the waves on the lake, the foamy wave tips. But in the forest itself, now this is a more open part of the forest than the one that you were traveling in before. It's easier to get through here, not so much undergrowth. Trees are spaced out a little bit more, so it's more like a verdant emerald green than the darker shades that you had until now. But you know that because you spent quite a while in this area yesterday.
Right. Can we get a sense of how fast this river flows?
I suppose you can. I would say that it flows. Questions that I have to think on my feet for. It's not going to be terribly fast, I don't think. This is right at the where it empties into the lake, and this is a major river, clearly, since it's marked on the map. So it can't be too strong current.
All right. So we'll have to probably spread out a little bit and see if there's a place where we can ford it. And Frida, how are we doing ration-wise?
Not as good as I would have liked, but we're doing just fine for now.
I'm
Okay.
actually gonna give you the option of making a makeshift raft. I'm a bit inspired here by Mutant Year Zero. With a successful crafting roll, it's going to get you across and then fall apart, basically. This is based on... Basically, what you do is you take a whole lot of... It's going to take you a quarter day to lash everything together, but you can take the vegetation around you, turn it into ropes, possibly get enough slender wood strung together to get your packs on it and so on, and get across
I
that
will
way.
volunteer to collect wood if that's what we're doing.
And I can craft it once we have the materials if you'd like.
You don't have
yeah, what-
axes, but you do have swords and knives and
I have
whatnot.
I have
I
axes.
have an axe.
Oh, you do have an axe. Yeah, that helps.
I have multiple axes, actually.
There you go. That makes life much easier for chopping down bigger logs.
Well, as long as it's a actual cutting axe and not a cutting people axe.
I have both. a battle axe that I picked up off of somebody somewhere.
The difference between people and cordwood is not a whole lot.
All right. Yeah. Why don't we try the raft? Because even if we find a place to ford at this time of the year, that river is going to be frigid.
Yep. Still early spring, and of course the river is a bit swollen at this point because of all that melting water from the mountains.
I'm not interested in walking around with wet fur.
I'm not interested in smelling them.
See, I wasn't going to say anything
I'm not
about
interested
what
in
dog
the
smell.
two of you fighting over it.
They bicker like a married couple.
That's insulting.
Yeah, Brainerd, if you can get us a list of material that you might need, we'll see what we can scrounge up.
Sure. Based off what I can tell, we need some logs, probably some thatching. So if you can find any really plant fibrous material, we can go ahead and braid that really quickly to make rope, and then we can use that to attach up the logs together and make.
Now, when you say makeshift, do you mean like we can probably get to the other side of the river, or can we take it all the way across the lake and save ourselves 3 or 4 days of travel time?
A makeshift raft. Really depends on how.
Across the river it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think Brenner would dare to take it out on the open lake and then have all the logs split underneath you and dump you into the water.
Okay. Perfect. All right. Yeah, we should be able to scrounge up all that stuff.
All right.
How much wood do we need?
Well, basically time and someone doing crafting roll.
Good the logs are.
Yes.
I'm gonna do the crafting roll.
While you're doing that, I'm going to catch up on my sleep from last night. Wake me up if anything dangerous comes.
Brainard's maybe a little sleepy still and didn't realize what he's doing.
Have you
He's
forgotten
going
the
to
plus
push
from
that.
the axe? Have you forgotten the plus from the axe?
Oh yeah, I didn't realize. Someone loaning me an axe so I can put this together.
Yep.
Here's swords.
Can I assist?
Yeah, that would add a skill die. So you'd have another red and another black.
Okay.
Did we already use
There
up
you
all
go.
the rope for the tree dwarf, or could we use that instead of fibrous materials to thatch the logs together?
I would allow that, yeah. That would give you another black die.
Okay, I'm gonna roll that one separate.
You have 2 successes. It's going to carry you
Successes.
across.
Because Beg took a look at, fibering long grass together, and it's like, oh yeah, this is cool. 5 minutes later, I'm bored. Here's some rope.
Exactly. Why are we fibering long grass together when we can just use the rope we already have? And so, in a quarter day after the morning, you wake up and you chop down some slender, not too sturdy trees and lash them together with a rope, and you can get across the river that way. And so you do. That means that you enter the next hex. It is time for someone to lead the way.
Well, I'm awake now. I'm like, I don't know if I trust this raft. So as soon as we're on the ground, I will be jumping off of the raft and start looking for the best path to take.
And I'm sure you're recovering the rope as well.
For sure.
Yeah, that makes yeah. All right. Leading the way.
Hi ho, it's off to somewhere we go.
So sorry. That's interesting.
You'd think it wouldn't be that hard with the lake right to the side of us.
It's a thick bush.
It's very thick bush here.
It
Okay.
is.
I will. Let me see.
Will there be a mishap, or will there be pride? Was your pride key to this?
Uh,
I can't remember.
kind of.
I'll help you.
But I will instead simply spend a willpower to succeed because of my path of the forest.
Yes, that works too. So, yes, you will not have a mishap as you move through this lush.
These days, I'm
and
going to let
verdant,
the mishap happen just to see.
wakening up forest, waking up from winter with all the sounds of birds and other animals nesting and coming out of their nests, and there's always something moving in the shrubbery. Is there anyone who is scouting, looking for possible threats, trouble?
Well, it's a day that ends in Y, so yes.
There is nothing sneaking up on Celestial Passage, let me tell you that right now. You will be the one who sees this first, I would think, with that roll. Maybe even using your looking glass. There is something, it's between the trees. What could it be? Maybe you're on a slight hill as you're coming up, and you can see it through the foliage. Somewhere out there in the distance, it's not another hill. It's in fact a building
There's
of some sort.
there's a structure of some kind over there. It's a construction. It's not natural.
Yeah, I don't know of any buildings in these parts, so
I would be surprised if you did.
yeah. I can always check it out.
What does everyone else think?
Is it along our way,
Yeah.
or do we have to go off the beaten path?
No, it's just slightly to the curvature of the right there, rather than the curvature of the left.
I mean, it might take us a couple hours out of our way to check it out, but by
More the
same token,
exploration part of it.
They may have the boat that we were looking for.
there.
It's worth a take a look, I guess. So worst case scenario, I just don't want to have the Towerman folks that we were supposed to meet up with wait too long for us. That's all.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Well, the time we saved fording across the river should probably buy us enough time to explore.
That's true.
Fair enough. Yeah, it doesn't take you long at all to make your way through the wilds towards this building. And as you get closer, you will notice, the rest of you will see it as well. It's looks like a barn, in fact, only the vegetation has started to take it back. It's fairly overgrown by mosses, vines, and the roof has collapsed.
We might be able to salvage enough wood so we don't have to chop down some logs when we get to the next river.
Yeah, there might be something of use on the inside too. Looks pretty derelict.
Yeah, or even like some tarpaulin or something that we can use to waterproof the raft a little better, because it was a little damp coming across.
It was a little damp.
Do what I can do with what I have.
Oh, for sure.
I take a deep inhale. Is there anything I can smell?
Just-
Like out of the ordinary, there's no trace of animal or other sentient beings left or anything like that.
it's just more forest smells, really.
Okay.
It blends in really well. And as you get closer, you'll notice that it's not just a barn; it's a whole farmstead here, and it must have been in its day fairly prosperous. Maybe they had cleared out a lot of land to till the soil, but now everything is overgrown. The what you s- the difference between this area and where they tried to grow their crops and the rest of the forest is that the trees are lower here. They're younger, so it's regrowth rather than the old forest around. But as for the houses, the barns, any structures, very torn up by weather, rains, winds, storms, seasons, and there's now a young tree sort of sticking out from the main farmhouse where they probably lived, and has gone through the roof just so you can see a bit of foliage sticking up. The windows are the hatches must have fallen off a while ago. They're gaping empty. This is overgrown. And you can, in fact, see, as you approach, the remains of someone who died long ago, who is half submerged into the soil by now, but you can see the skeletal outline there. Is that an arrow shaft sticking out? Yeah, it might be. Very old, but still there.
Rhino, this might be a good place for you to forage. If it's an old homestead, there might be some perennials kicking around.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna
Make
give
sure it's
you,
secure first.
Yeah, I'll do a walk around the perimeter.
Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing here as you walk around. No threat. You frightened a couple of deer who were chewing on something on the borderlands there and immediately rush away. But Brenner, if you
And we
want
could
to,
have deer for supper.
you can have deer for supper. You can absolutely do that
I'll spend a willpower to mark one of their scents so I can track it later.
for sure. And Brenner, if you want to roll for foraging, I'm going to give you a full 2 extra red dice for that because of exactly what Jessica said. This has been used to grow food before, and
Excellent.
there's going to be some wild, still very edible foods in what used to be a garden.
Okay, I'll add it to my skill die.
Indeed.
While Brainard is forging, Celestial Passage, since your eyes are better than mine, do you want to give me a hand, see if we can see any tracks or anything, see if there's been anybody through here lately or if it's just us?
Certainly, I'll definitely give assistance. Don't want to be surprised.
I was thinking more I would assist you.
No, either way.
Yeah, you find
That's
yourself
better
one vegetable there. Maybe some rhubarb. Who knows?
Rhubarb.
Did you want scouting again or survival?
If this is about finding potential threats, it's scouting.
I think we're just, yeah, that's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
All right, +1 red die for the assist.
But I mean, you already. I could give you
Ooh.
because you already had 4 successes on the last
Okay.
one. I can let you plunder the 3, the 3 remaining ones. It's
That-
really
that
for the
sounds
quarter
lovely.
day, right? So
Yeah.
it feels a bit redundant, but meanwhile, Jessica, were you gonna do the hunting roll on those deer?
Yeah, I'll do the. Once I've caught their scent, I don't think I need to track them.
That's correct.
I spent the willpower to keep their scent, so.
Yeah, I can even
just,
give you a sort of a survival. I can give you a survival roll, marksmanship roll. I mean, for the
Okay.
deer, since you're right on top of them, so that can save you the willpower even.
Yep.
If you succeed with that. That
Yep.
is a success, in fact. You're reacting really fast with your throwing spear, and you manage to bring down one of the deer. And that's a good haul for you. That's 3 pelts and 5 meat. That replenishes the stocks from what the ruffians and vagabonds ate last night.
Are we going to be spending a lot of time here?
In fact, now that you've been looking over this place, it's an excellent place to make camp. You have shelter inside the farmhouse. There are at least parts of it that are still structurally intact enough to sleep in. There doesn't seem to be any threats inside. And
Is the hearth still intact?
yes, it is, in fact.
Okay.
And you have fairly good vision from out into from inside the farmhouse out into the surrounding areas, so that makes it a good place to see any potential threats coming in.
Would we like to stay here for a bit, and I will prepare the deer and vegetables?
Here we can. I mean, we haven't. I don't think we had breakfast this morning, so.
It's
Nope.
time to eat, yeah.
It's a good idea to take advantage of the forest's bounty when we stumble across such things.
Agreed. I wouldn't want the deer to go bad before I could cook it.
Alright, so you'll spend the second quarter day of this day with Frida cooking up the deer meat.
So between that and the vegetable, that gives us 6 food?
It does indeed. And I think you can cook up all of that in one single sitting, can't you? I think so.
Yes, I can. If I have a kitchen, which is why I asked about the hearth, I can cook up to 12.
There you go. So you will all be well fed today. The only thing that you need to use is your water flasks, because the well here has collapsed a long time ago. That works.
I have shaken off the curse of the water.
Don't
Oh, good.
jinx it.
It's because we finally plugged the holes.
Exactly. There you
You
go.
knew?
Okay, you have all had a good drink today and a good meal of venison. I guess it's time to sleep again, actually. Who's
Do
gonna
we have to worry
keep
about
watch at night?
actually making camp, or?
I'm gonna give you, because this is such an excellent campground, I'm gonna give you 2 extra dice. 3 extra dice, in fact. It's a rare thing. 3 extra red dice. It's a rare thing to find such a good camping ground. There might still be like a nest of vipers somewhere, who knows? But yeah. Onto the floorboards.
Alright. So I'll check everything out, make sure there's not vipers or ants or anything like that. Make sure that we sleep outside where the roof is collapsed, all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah. And so you do. And who's keeping watch over the night? Someone who
I
slept
believe
earlier.
I can take a quarter and then
Yeah.
Frida.
I can do it. You might not like my rolls, but I can do it.
All right. Well, it's a nice, peaceful afternoon and evening with the smell of delicious fresh venison cooked, and it will fill your tummies really nicely as well. It's a good place, this. It's probably the most secluded and sort of... It's the first time that you're all knowingly on your own without interruptions. No, I mean, it was nice to be with the elves. They were very hospitable, but it was their place and you were guests, and there was always someone around there, which meant that you didn't have much privacy. And then last night, when you were making camp, along came those vagabonds, and now you're here in the forest, and you're not in the company of the elves. It's just you and the animals.
This is probably the most relaxed anybody has seen Soren since you met him at Fort Riverstone.
Quite a lovely situation.
Mm.
Well, you know, less than a handful of people is tolerable.
I agree.
Rita is going to go take a nap now, where she's going to be watching later.
And while Frida goes ahead and takes a nap, Raynor will kind of gesture over to the rest of the group and kind of, if they wanted to listen, Raynor would actually tell the story of how Frida and Raynor first kind of met.
Oh, excellent story time. I would be very curious.
You're very interested in that. Yeah.
Yeah, story time with 2 empathy. This is going to be great.
Just
As
means
rough
you
as
don't
he
get
is.
emotional about it. You're not
Yeah.
that invested in the story.
Exactly. But yes, when we first started out, we were all actually captured by Saurians. And we broke free, as I believe Frida mentioned previously, and made our way to Peddler's Rest. We left there ourselves, Marita and Fidon, and made our way to Fort Riverstone with the intent of trying to find a bigger town and, you know, make our mint and kind of figure out what we can do and how we're going to, mainly get away from the Saurians and go from there. Upon arrival, we found Rosalind in a dwarf encampment and ran into details about the trade situation that was going on at Fort Riverstone, where basically they were holding up trade tariffs for the towns further in the south and wouldn't allow trade properly to go through. During our journey, Fidan, Rita, Frida, and myself got close, and we're a pretty unorthodox group. But we did find some other weird issues at Fort Riverstone, and this kind of leads into the demon discussion. Frankly, they did a public execution. We all attended and just kind of, tried to figure out what was going on with it. While we were there, we actually found that there was demonic. We found that there was demonic magic actually being used and soaking up the blood from underneath the floorboards of the execution area. So this caused us pretty much immediately to start questioning everything going on in this town. The Raven sister residing on the execution, actually, we went back further to interrogate her. Come to find out, through some interrogation and some magic of my own and Rita's at the time, we were able to find out that there was a demon there at the temple and she was demonic herself. We banished those and ridded her in the process. However, the local mayor, owner, townskeep, what have you, Lady Mirinda, she knew about this, willingly knew about the sacrifices, willingly knew about everything going on in the city, and was lover with the Raven sisters. So by par, we worked with the locals, Rosalind, the dwarfs. We made some other friends there within the encampments, and basically started the, for lack of a better term, revolution to try and open up the town for both trade, but also for the opportunity of getting rid of all of the demons within the city. So during the night of the siege, for lack of better terms, we were there dealing with the siege, and their new Raven sister showed up at the temple, named Martha. It's almost as if this Raven sister kind of got called out of the blue, because it was no word of a lie, less than a day, maybe two, that the Raven sister passed. And this new one kind of serendipitously kind of showed up out of nowhere and said, "Oh well, I'm going to run the temple." So during the siege, we went to go visit her. She took refuge a lot of the citizens of the city and such, and basically protected the ones that weren't needing to take part in the siege. Come to find out, between once again myself and Marita at the time, she was also a demon. Marita made truthfully the ultimate sacrifice for us at the group, and she vanquished the demon, but in turn the demon got to her, and basically it took her life. Along that time, well, we found out what the demon was. It was a Marigal, and supposedly they're like half demonic, half legend, godlike, can, basically peddle the best out of all of us, type of mentality. And shortly after that, truthfully, that's when we met up with you. So right after that, we went straight into the grieving process, and well, you've seen the impact it's been taking on Frida. So honestly, all we wanted since we left Soren captivity, in my opinion, was to help others. And unfortunately, some of us need time still to heal, due to the losses of our friends. To be honest, I didn't know Marita as much. She was a very young druid. She was really still learning, but it's unfortunate what happened. And I'm hoping our journey off to get this ruby back for the elves will help us heal some of that past and do some good in the process, and maybe allow us to vanquish some more of these demons.
I had no idea Marita was part of your traveling group. I just thought it was someone in the town that had fallen from the battle. So
no, to be frank, it'd be the same as if, based off what I can tell from your group, if Soren lost herself, or or Celestial Passage, it's the same. Well, I'm hoping same grieving process, if that makes sense, right?
It'd be a damn shame. It would be a lot harder to travel in the woods that way.
I don't know. I serve a purpose.
You serve it well.
It's quite the tale. Things make some more sense now. Things I've seen and read of your natures and your body language as you've acted. Time does heal most wounds, but unfortunately the pace that we've been forced to keep does not allow us such luxuries. But perhaps together we can be a balm for each other when needed.
Sometimes throwing yourself into your work is just what you need.
Bernard, could I have a manipulation roll for you and an insight for Celestial Passage, please?
Yep.
All right.
Pushing it. Yeah. Okay.
Get your willpower.
Yep, get your willpower.
You become even less empathetic.
Hey. At least till he goes to sleep, which happens shortly.
Yeah, so that's the shocking story of Frida and Brennar and the demonic infestation in Fort Riverstone that you stumbled into and has since been chased by, if you will, Big and Celestial and Soren.
It did determine part of our pace and our passage.
It has.
Well, all the more reason to avoid Fort Riverstone, both for bad memories and in case it is still infested.
Yes, exactly.
It's possible that Raven actually guided the three of you to Fort Riverstone at exactly the right time. At least, if you think about gods and omens.
Well, if Raven guided your passage to there in the time of need, no doubt if we need to return, our passage will be guided there again, whether it's through the witnesses of our elven brethren and friends, or our own as we exit our current mission.
Well, hopefully, if we get this important ruby back for the elves, it'll help you to realize that there is still worth in doing good in the world. I don't personally subscribe to it, but whatever helps you sleep.
I've seen enough on the walls at the Tamarin to pretty much view exactly the Celestial Passage's aspect on things now.
It's all right, Soren. We'll continue to strive not to let you down.
All right, well, I've had enough touchy-feely crap, so I'm going to sleep.
Seconded, I'm still sleepy.
Yeah, I guess it's Celestial who keeps, or was it Frida who's gonna keep watching?
I'm gonna stay up, and I'm gonna wake Frida towards the end.
Yeah. Well, it's a very quiet evening. Nothing in particular that is happening outside of what you can expect in a forest. It's genuinely pleasurable experience for those who like the outdoors and spending time among animals and the natural world.
Dreadful for those of us that don't.
Yes, that's true. For those of you who don't, it's...
Take a moment, breathe it in, enjoy it.
It's
Or a little city girl.
Yeah, there's no access to a single tavern, no good ale, no good games to play with other people, no one to feast with, well, except these people, but yeah.
The only thing that would make this better is if there was like 4 or 5 less people. Then it would be ideal. But I'm going to mark this on my map.
To make a long story short, the night also passes without incidents.
So as the false dawn brightens the horizon, before it's time to truly wake up and begin our day, I'll go and gently stir Frida. First, I'll poke at. I'll gently put a hand on her shin.
It's difficult to wake a wolf kid.
Yep.
Once and when one has a massive axe.
Yeah. Frida will wake up. She's probably already partially awake at this point.
Yeah.
So she'll get up and take the second watch, just kind of wordlessly, and get breakfast started.
Frida,
Sure.
Yeah.
you're two different beings at conflict within yourself. And I understand where you're coming from now a bit better.
Okay.
Well, we've witnessed Frida, the warrior, the defender, who will stand between Raynar, the last, at this time, stalwart companion, who's proven himself above and beyond you and bonded with you, against anything, be it word, action, worn out ruffians coming into our camp. But I've also seen what I think of as potentially the real you, the you that gives deeply, that cares to ensure that everyone is well fed, looked after as best you can, and that we work in harmony. And
Okay.
I understand you're still wounded inside from what happened at the stones.
Did I miss something?
Oop.
Frida wasn't at story time.
Raynar told us, in his way, some of what had transpired from your meeting to your meeting us.
That makes sense.
And I've been reading everyone as best I can. It's a gift and a curse.
Have
Like-
I been confusing to this point, have I?
Yes and no. The reason had eluded me. Whether it was something deep inside, or if it was a fresh wound that hasn't had the chance to heal or mend. Especially with how forced and fast we've had to move.
This is true. Running from a revolution and all.
You may have noticed that we're not all perfect either. I mean, aside from the words chosen by some of my companions. I don't know the full breadth of their tale, but I understand, and you may have noticed that Soren has little trust in him. He's been let down too many times to allow himself to be exposed, to be at risk.
To be honest, where I come from, Soren makes the most sense.
I figured it much. Now, Big's the tough one, and unfortunately, Big's also the one that's been rubbing your wound the most, I've noticed.
Yeah, well.
Because Big has been hurt, clearly, but at the same time tries to overcome that by being as welcome and open as possible to, I believe, prevent others from feeling that pain, but at the same time uses words and tone to push others away so they can't get too close.
Interesting.
But I wanted to let you know before you had time to prepare the meal for the morning if you wish to. Before everyone else woke up, that you
Thanks for
better
the group
understand.
therapy. I promise I won't spit in it.
That's really all I can ask, but I'll try and be here for what it's worth if I don't walk into a tree.
Thanks. Rita will continue on to go prepare breakfast now, just kind of mystified and a little in shock of, okay, that was weird.
Druids, yo.
Druids, yo. Sorry, the last druid she knew was a little mouthier.
You guys keep it down. Some of us are trying to sleep still.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're all gonna get up in the morning, and I guess it's time for further moving through the forest until you get to the next river, which will...
This time probably to the smell of some leftover deer fat.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. I will look back wistfully at this farmstead as we leave, but I will make sure to mark it so I can find it again.
Yeah, very good.
Then when I have some money, if I actually get paid for this job of escorting this halfling, I'll be able to get some material and fix this up.
Well, you might not be. You might be also to be paid in labor and assistance.
True enough.
Yeah, maybe. Either way. All right, everybody ready? Maybe we'll stick close to the coast.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Backpacks on.
Yep.
Alrighty, and we're off.
Indeed. That brings you to the next hex along the coast. Are you moving it, or should I?
No, go ahead.
Alright. Yeah, that's another lead the way roll, of course. It's not really his day today, Soren's.
I swear I'm good at this.
Well, that depends on if you use a willpower or push
We've
it.
heard you swear a lot.
Alright, so this is like the fourth lead the way roll in a row that I have not succeeded at.
I know.
At this,
you're rolling like
at this
I
point
do.
in time, my pride is like, no, damn it, you can survive this. Because my pride just can survive for weeks in the wilderness. So I'm going to use that.
All right. Yeah. About that.
Nope.
Oh my goodness!
Nope. I'm giving up this wilderness life. You guys are convinced me. I'm going to buy a townhouse and move to the city.
Apparently, you
You seen
will,
the building.
in fact,
You were done
have
for.
to get a new pride for
Yeah.
the next session.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting. In the meantime, roll a d66 because we have our first leading the way mishap coming up.
Is it D6 or D66?
66.
All right.
Had to happen sooner or later, but I thought it would take a little bit longer.
His mind's
65.
just so
That's probably
focused
not
on that
good.
cabin.
That's probably not good at all.
Who am I gonna kill?
Just because he slept too close to the viper's nest, he didn't realize he was inhaling poison fumes.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. How do I present that? Okay. No one is going to die immediately. I'll start with that. I'll lead with that.
Yay!
This was not an auto kill.
I did not lead you all into death.
No, it's you will notice when you get to the river and you put down your backpack. I'm going to give it to Soren because you rolled so nicely. There's something moving inside your backpack.
I will take an arrow and I will, at a distance, kind of flip my backpack open.
And
Like I'll take it off and I'll flip it
Yeah.
open.
As he does this, I take a large whiff to kind of get a scent.
nothing terribly suspicious, Frida. Like, it smells of forests and animals, like Soren always does. So there's nothing that breaks that pattern.
Okay.
And you flip that flap open with the arrow, and you see inside your backpack, sitting munching on some of your nuts. In fact, your travel food is a squirrel, and she just looks up at you and keeps munching.
Oh, God damn it! Put an arrow through him.
No, don't put an arrow through it. It's just a squirrel. Unless you're gonna eat it, but
Yeah, that's the plan. He eats my food, I eat him.
all right. Well, as long as you're gonna eat it.
Well, it's gonna jump aside, and you know when you start looking aggressive and move, the instincts kick in, and it kind of burrows down further into your backpack.
Damn it!
I believe, unless you actually are set on exterminating it, I believe I can intervene.
Well, if it burrows deeper into my backpack, then I'm gonna be like, and then I'm gonna like find a dry-ish place since we're fairly close to the river, and just kind of empty the sack out onto the ground. It's like, if you want to do druid shit with a squirrel, I'll give you the opportunity. But if it fails, I'm gonna shoot him and eat him.
If you want, Soren, I can lay out one of the pelts I got off the deer for you to put your stuff on.
B, you were doing the scouting, I guess, again?
Hey,
Might wanna
guess.
roll that.
Yeah, so I would be able to do an animal handling roll to capture that squirrel.
Yeah, for
or-
sure. Absolutely.
If you
I'll allow
wish,
to
I
do
would, yeah, I was just volunteering magic, but if you've got a mundane, go for it.
that.
It would be easier to try.
As everyone else is focused on the squirrel, Celestial keeps a watch over the group. And you can in fact see up in a tree, there's like a platform there, and there's someone moving there. And then you notice that it is in fact an orc sitting up there. And looking at you. And you've noticed this in some time in advance, because this orc doesn't seem to have noticed that you have noticed the orc. It's dressed in rags, really.
Greetings, friend orc. We mean no harm.
You squirrel chasers, mud crawlers, it stands up. The orc stands up, pulls down his pants, and starts pissing in your general direction.
Eh.
Now, where I come from, that's an insult.
I shoot him in the dick.
I expected no less.
It's not a very big orc, this one. It's
Oh.
maybe, not quite half the size of the
Does
types of
Sword have a
warriors.
hard time aiming?
It's-
Remember, rated R, folks.
Worm
So yeah,
eaters!
I'm just gonna whip around and shoot him.
Okay.
I was fast action to aim and a slow action to shoot.
I will believe. Well, you have to prepare the bow first, of course, but this person is not doing anything to stop you.
I have fast shooter.
Oh, there you go. Go ahead and roll. This is short distance.
If possible, because I don't want my party to turn on me. I'm assuming as a trained woodsman, some of my arrows I might have like the blunt arrows you use for bird hunting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I will
Yeah,
shoot
why
him with one of those.
Okay. I'll accept that.
Right. Aim is one of those. Bow is 2 days.
The insults keep coming, by the way.
That's okay. Frida's just waiting for him to hit the ground.
You hit him. That's clear. You did deduct a -1 for short range.
Oh no, I did not.
Well, that's on your skills, and your successes are on your attributes. So, for brevity's sake, that adds another damage. So it's 2 points of damage, the way I read it.
Yep.
Yeah, your arrow. You hit your mark. He stumbles back. Ah, that's it! That's it! Give in to your anger and rage! Come now,
So-
you lily-livered cowards! Come here and I'll let me tear you a new one!
Is he on the ground now?
Nope.
Okay, guess that means I'm next.
Weaklings! I'm right here!
Oh. Sorry, I forgot to add my spear into that.
Alright.
I'll just roll the
I think
gear
it's
die.
time for us to pull out some initiative cards. But yes, you do hit. Okay, yeah.
Sorry,
That's not a hit.
that was supposed to just be the gear die.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, it's a hit on that first roll. I'll be
Okay.
generous. So it
Excellent.
does add, what's the throwing spear? Is that 1 or 2 damage?
It's a 2, I believe.
Oh.
Let
that
me
would
just
be-
double check. It might be a 1. Throwing spear. No, it's a
It's
2.
a 1. It's a 1. So that adds 1 point. Yeah, he's still. That one sort of gets into the thigh, or it slashes up the thigh, and he grabs his bow. He has arrows there as well. Yes, come at me now, come at me, you can't even aim straight, you blundering idiots. And let's pull out some initiative cards.
Okay.
Alrighty.
How did you? It says that it ran out of cards. Oh, there we go. No, for some reason I can't grab. Can you? The rest of you grab cards?
No, I can't either. It's telling me there's no cards left.
Okay, I'll recall all the cards. Let's try it again. I can shuffle it once. And now, let's try it.
Okay, I got one.
Yeah, I got one. There we go. That did the trick.
Okay.
I have a 3.
I have a 10.
8.
Oh, is that mine? No.
I
Sorry,
have the
never
2.
mind. That was not me.
I'll put it over Jessica there. Who's at 8? That's the Soren. And
There we go. There's mine.
okay.
5.
Oh, that's yours. Okay, who has the 10?
There we
What-
go. Sorry, I was having trouble with the deck.
Is 10 Joshua's?
Yep.
Okay. And 3 is for Michaela then, I guess. No, that was mine, right? Michaela has...
I have a 6.
Yeah. Okay. That's alright. There you go. Thanks.
That's what I was doing wrong. Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's Celestial then. You're first. What do you do with this orc?
Combat? Oh,
Yeah, suddenly.
Oh wow. He's up in a tree. I have a staff.
Yeah.
Throw it at him.
No.
You can, I mean, he grabbed his bow last turn, so you can always just hide behind a tree or something.
Yeah, I'll go for cover while keeping an eye on things.
All right, that leaves the Great Insulter, who is going to try and do something. Speaking, namely, attack either Soren or Frida. Well, roll a die, even for Frida and odd for Soren, because those are the ones who've attacked him so far. Even attacking Frida, then. This orc has, with a bow, not terribly good. The arrow flies, and it in fact is a hit on Frida. I believe you do have armor,
Yeah, I have leather armor.
so you can it's 1 point of damage, and if you
I
roll
think the leather negates that, doesn't it?
you roll your armor dice, and if you get successes, it does.
Okay. Let me figure out how to roll armor dice.
Indeed, that's on your sheet, and there is a button saying armor
Oh, yeah,
next to the
I
armor
see
rating,
it.
and then you click roll. And then you click roll.
I did.
There
There
you
we
go.
go.
Oh, now it was okay. Fair enough. You clicked it, and it didn't react at first.
Sorry, it was delayed.
Yeah, apparently. I'm gonna go
Well,
with.
you just say I pushed it. I don't know if you can push an armor
No, you
roll.
can't. You can't push an armor roll.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with the first roll.
Yep,
And
that's
that
okay.
means that
I
your
grab
armor
my
has
shirt
now
and I throw it in front of it. I'm
taken a
pushing
bit
my
of
armor.
damage. In fact.
Oh no.
So your armor rating goes down 1 step because you take 1 point of damage. It goes through. Ugh. It scrapes your side a bit. The arrow does. It's not a terrible wound. It's just 1 point of damage, but you can feel it.
It's but a flesh wound.
It is but a flesh wound. That gets us to number 5, which is Frida. You did throw your throwing spear, so you don't have it anymore.
Did, and he's too far up for me to hit him with my sword, I
Yes.
want to say.
You can do a
Um,
move roll to get close enough right under his platform. I don't even know if you need to do that, though,
Push.
because it's... Now, if you just move, which is a fast action,
I'm actually going to use, I think it's my might, to try and intimidate him into falling. Can I do that?
you can do a taunt.
Okay. Because I have fearsome, which allows me to use my...
You have threatening, which is...
Yeah.
But that's a persuasion thing, and at this stage you're already in combat, so it doesn't really apply.
Oh, okay.
Threatening is when
Okay.
you try to cow someone into obeying you, but he's already attacked you. So obviously
Okay.
he's not scared that way.
I will
For some
simply
reason.
just move underneath of him then.
Yeah.
That's unfortunately other systems that allow you to do interaction attacks and get combat.
Well, the
So
taunt
it's
is an interaction attack, but it's a different kind of interaction.
A move roll you said to try and get underneath of him?
I'm thinking of if I really even need to do that for you. It's short
Because
distance.
he's not really running away.
No, exactly. So I'm gonna put you underneath the tree after this turn. Basically, you're just running through the underbrush to get to him.
Okay, so I don't have to roll then?
That's correct. Next turn,
Okay.
you're gonna have to do a move roll to climb the tree, but that's next turn.
Okay.
That gets us to Michaela. What is Beg doing?
Just to be sure, does the willpower reset every day or anything like that?
No,
Or
you keep
am
your
I able to
willpower
use-
that you had.
Yeah, because I think I had a willpower from before.
Yeah, that's very possible.
Now, with that willpower, am I able to use Sharp Tongue?
Let's see now. Sharp tongue doesn't apply that way. It's basically when you manipulate someone, you can hurt their empathy. So you can insult this orc into submission using sharp tongue, and you don't need to use a willpower for that. You just roll your manipulate roll, and if you get more than 1/6, you hurt his empathy and break him that way.
Yeah, so
and he only has the 2, so you need 3 6s to break him, and then he will be wallowing on the platform in tears over your horrible insults.
Okay, so yeah, with the inspiration from Brainar's story last night, and suddenly seeing Soren, I guess, or not Soren, sorry, Frida in a new light. I would be singing their praises in this case, and I'd be like, don't fight these people, you'll never stand a chance. Get down now while you have it, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I'd still probably throw in the stench is a lot easier downwind anyway, but just to keep it on an even keel, because I have to just a little bit of snark.
Trading insults with an orc.
Oh, there goes Big. Try not to let people get too close.
Well, he's already up in a tree. It's hard not to keep him at arm's distance.
Yeah, no, you are in fact hurting the orc emotionally with 1 point out of that. It's not enough to break him, but you
delicious,
can
delicious
see
orc
that
tears.
he's now sort of turning his attention to you. Oh, there goes one who knows the ways of word, you little rotten halfling. We can hardly see you above the shrubbery, you so short.
Wow, that is so unoriginal.
Yes, it is. And that leaves us to Soren.
All right. I will very quickly notch another arrow, take aim at him, and let loose.
Go ahead.
So it's -1 die for range.
Yep.
Okay. Got it taken into account this time.
That's a miss.
You know what? I'm going to push that.
All right.
All right, we rolled a 1 skill die.
Yeah, for sure. The skill dice don't give you any damage when they turn out once. It's only the skulls. So remove the 1 white die. There you go. Oh, that's a good hit. You hit him for 2 points of damage. He is in fact down. Ugh, that's better. And then he falls over, and then he goes, "Argh!" And being
freaking
an orc,
orcs.
he gets back up. Argh! And you just hear frothing at this point from the mouth.
So he doesn't count as broken, so I don't have to worry about a critical on him.
No, you can still roll a critical on him.
A 51.
A 51 indeed. It's a stab wound. Oh, you hit him straight in the torso, right in the lung.
Oof.
He will
He's
die
gonna
from
feel
this
that.
if he doesn't get treatment. It's going to take a few days, but he will die. He
He's gonna
doesn't
feel
seem to
that in the
care at
morning.
all. Yeah, he's back up, but not before Brennar has time to act.
Yep. So Brainer is going to follow Frida's lead and basically run over to the tree.
Okay. New turn then, with Celestial Passage first again.
Yes, because there's just so many things that I can do in this situation.
You could. Oh, you don't heal, do you?
No, because that was the skill that my mentor could not share with me.
It's,
Oh, right. Your arrows, Soren. Yeah, you do have now a D10. No, you run out of. Oh, you have D10 now of arrows. Yeah.
You lost an arrow.
Okay, if Celestial Passage is covering behind. I think
I'm
you
watching for others approaching. Yeah, okay.
Did you
I'm
learn
watching our
that
flanks.
first level of shapeshifting?
That is animal speech, which just allows me to ask questions, talk to them. Cat's paw, which is sneak, and hawk's eye, which is
Okay,
watching.
so the actual fighting things come on the next level, I believe.
That is level 2, yes.
Fair enough.
Where I could order the squirrel to attack him, for example.
Yay!
Aw, cute little
You
squirrel.
can do that. That gives us the orc, who will, in fact, I think, grab. No, I keep shooting. I think I'm gonna keep shooting. Why not?
He's standing between me and Brainard now, isn't he?
He's still on his platform, so he can see
Really?
well. Yeah, and this time, since in
okay.
fact Big insulted him, he's going to shoot at Big. He doesn't have much in the ways of dice here, and in fact, I have to roll a negative skill die to see because of the distance. Yeah, that arrow goes wide of the mark. It just flies past you. Not a problem at all. Come get me! And so Frida will, I believe, roll
Yep.
move to climb the tree.
Move to climb the tree?
Yep.
I can't just swipe at his ankles.
No, he's up on a platform, like in the foliage up there.
What? Why did that do a thing?
I don't know.
I'm gonna push that.
Okay. Remove 2 white dice. You're gonna get willpower for this.
I hope so.
And then you can use those willpower points to make minced meat out of him.
Why didn't it remove the dice?
I don't know. That's weird.
You have to manually do it.
Oh. Okay. There.
There you
There
go.
we go.
Yeah, that's a hit. You take 2 points of damage to your...
Yay! Why did it do it twice?
It must be some hiccup with the button. I'll go with the first one.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry,
you're moving up
mine's sticky.
the tree there. You'll be on attacking distance next turn.
Okay.
You will take 2 points of damage to your agility, of course.
Yep.
But you also get 2 willpower points. Didn't you? Here's a question. Didn't you learn the path of the blade
I
last turn?
started learning it.
Did you put the
I
XP
think.
into it?
Not yet, I don't think.
You didn't?
Or no, he couldn't teach me Path of Blade.
Yeah, no, he could teach you path of the blade. Need me to.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think I've put the XP into it yet, though.
Okay, fair enough.
So I'll
I
have
was
to do
under the
that this turn.
impression- Yeah.
Well, let.
That's
No,
all
I
right.
haven't put the XP in it yet.
Fair enough. That gives us Michaela. Are you gonna continue your barrage of insults?
High rate of insults, yeah. Because at this point, I probably would have noticed that he's injured, punctured lung. It's like insult him about wheezing from his own stench this time rather than.
Exactly. You need 2 more successes. You got 1. That's not quite enough to hurt him. He is, of course, still focused on you. There's a verbal duel now going on between the orc and the halfling. Moving on to Soren.
The arrow that he shot at Big, did it land anywhere close to her?
Maybe?
Basically, I want to grab his arrow and then send it back to him.
I'll allow that.
Return to sender.
And I'll kind of give Big a little smile as I do.
Yeah.
You better roll well so you can see you've returned it with interest.
I'm going to say because he's on a big platform and Big is in fact short, so it's going to be planted in the ground fairly close by, just from the angle of the shot.
Got it. Okay. So I'm not aiming this time. Alright, and -1 for range. Okay. I'm assuming it's going to take like at least a fast action to grab the arrow.
Yes.
Okay. Oh.
Not a good day for Soren, this.
Well, I send his arrow back to him, but it's like way over there someplace. And I will try to, since we're still in the same zone, if I can, I'll try to make sure Big is behind me.
Okay. That's fine. He will hit you before he hits Big.
Soren fires it briefly, has a look on his face of consternation. He goes, now you can't get your arrow back.
Brennar, you are beneath the tree. You can see Frida climbing up there really fast.
Alright, he's gonna try and do the same.
Okay.
Hopefully these old man bones will get him up there.
Don't light me on fire.
Move roll.
Not to.
Yeah, no, those old bones are not going anywhere.
He's gonna push the old rolls.
Okay. Remove 1 of the dice. Gain a willpower. Nope. You're not getting anywhere. The branch that you grabbed onto just comes loose under your hand and you fall back down again.
It's the claws, man. They make a big difference.
They do. That brings us back to Celestial. Still covering behind things.
That's what caused you all the trouble, was your claws making splinters drive into your hands.
You are now up there, and since we're getting to melee range, I'm gonna say that the orc will prepare and grab instead an axe. I believe he has. Yeah, he grabs an axe and a shield.
Okay.
Prepares that way, and then he will attack you, which gives you.
I'm gonna parry with my shield.
You can do that, absolutely.
I can't remember if I have to roll for that. I
Yes,
have
you do.
passive shield, so I can't remember if I have to roll or if it's a willpower thing.
No. You roll for the parry with the shield.
Okay.
But since he has an axe, he can't thrust. So it's gonna be like you're parrying with a shield against a slash, so it doesn't give you any bonuses for the skill roll.
Okay.
And I will roll his skill. You have nobody's hurt them this turn, so he's fine for that. He is much better with an axe than he is with a bow.
Why is it not letting me click on the shield? That's just a melee, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a
It's a
melee
parry?
roll with the skill with the gear bonus of the shield, which is
Okay.
2, I believe. Does you have a large shield?
I
You have a
do.
small shield?
No, we made me a bigger one.
Yeah. Now he has a small shield. You have a large one, so you get 2
Yeah.
plus for that. He has a 2 gear bonus for the axe. And since I didn't actually put him in the database, I'm gonna have to roll manually.
I got 2 successes to parry.
That's more than you need. He is lunging at you, bang, but it just slams up against the shield.
The deer antlers get in his way.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you didn't even add. So you have 2 more black dice for that.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, but it's okay because obviously you have
I don't
parry
need them.
as his attack, and that's a fast action on your part. So that gives you the option to attack him. And next
So
turn
I
we'll
can still
use
swing
the,
with my sword.
Yeah, and next time we'll use the hidden combinations.
Okay. Sword is melee, and my gear bonus
Do add those gear bonuses.
is 2.
I'll roll his parry.
I'm gonna push that.
Feel free to.
That's safer.
With all those dice, you should make minced meat out of him.
I got 1
you
success.
do hit him, and the longsword does lots of damage, doesn't it?
2, I think.
It does indeed.
2 base.
Yeah.
You hit him and you slash him across the chest, which is already bleeding from that arrow. That means that he has 2 less points of strength to play around with. Ah! He's God! Ah!
I roar in his face.
Ah! That tongue is just frothing with orc saliva all over your shield.
I put my hand over my eyes and just shake my head and lean against the tree.
Michaela, will you break the orc? You're a bad person and you should feel bad.
Yes.
You break the orc.
Over her
Good
knee.
job.
The orc comes down on the knees. I'm a bad person.
Yes, you are.
You're bad. You should feel bad.
If my mother could see me now.
I'm just gonna look back over my shoulder and like, really?
So I'm going to try and drag the orc down. Are we out of initiative yet?
Yeah, I suppose we are, because the orc is broken now.
He's been defeated,
And-
yeah.
Sobbing and
Orcs do
And-
have the unbreakable talent, but he's out of willpower by now, so he's not going to be able to use it again.
I'll try and drag him down, and we'll see if we can get any information out of him.
Yeah, for sure. It's gonna work. Eventually, you get him down. I suppose the question is how much you hurt yourself on the way down. So maybe roll a move.
I just kick him off the platform.
Boom! Ah!
would I be able to attempt healing on?
Absolutely, you
while
can
she's-
for
while
sure.
she's trying to interrogate.
Why would you heal on me or on the orc?
No, the orc. I'll get to you.
Why are you healing the orc? I'm confused.
You can
Dying
definitely.
and, a little.
He's not
respect
dying,
for
he's just
duelist.
heartbroken.
Well, he is dying because of that lung wound.
broken.
Pull my
Earlier
arrow.
critical injury from
Yeah.
So, but
When
it's
I
gonna
pull
take a
my
few
arrow
days.
out, there's a sucking air sound.
Yeah. And those, he has fairly small fangs, boar tusks, coming out of his, and when you compare his stature to say Ochro, he's shorter, for sure.
He's simply returning to
Covered
his
with
people.
some kind of boar fur, if you will, down his neck and out on his shoulders.
We should probably interrogate and then heal, if you're going to insist on healing.
Dies on the on the interrogation.
Oh, I've seen ones like this before. He's good for
Right.
at least a day before he can no longer breathe and chokes to death on his own blood.
Tell you what, just take your finger and just put it in there. I just kind of like wiggle it around as I'm showing Frida what to do. It's
Oh,
like, yeah, just
the-
plug
this is how Big Plugs dams.
Yeah, pretty much it. So, yeah.
How about this? And Frida just kind of puts her foot on top of it. Now, Would somebody else like to ask the questions?
I guess Big is good for that.
Go back and
Still-
deal with the squirrel.
Still somewhat in awe from the earlier story. I'm like, you know what, you're doing a good job. Just keep applying pressure, and I'll apply pressure of my own, and I'll look into the orc and try and intimidate or manipulate.
Yeah, I mean, with your manipulation there, so you were actually healing the orc, and that's gonna stop. Your success means that the orc will not die from the lung wound. You have saved his life. I am Cardinal. I am the great provoker. Yes. I scared the blood mist away, and now it is my mission to make you all awake and let loose your inner rage. And you did so well, my disciples. You did so well.
Oh, I did well?
No, not you.
Oh, now I
The
feel
wolf.
bad.
She has much rage. Ah, yes. And the human. And the halfling, too. I never knew they could be so vicious.
Oh, you've never seen them.
Ask him about the rose.
The,
So what's this about the rose?
the Eye of the Rose?
That's it? Ruby Rose?
What? What are you talking? Eye of the Rose? I got away from there. They wouldn't listen to me.
We're listening now, so tell us what you know.
It's a horrible place filled with disbelievers. They have lost connection to the rage.
So they're civilized.
Yeah. Pah! He spits some blood. They're civilized. Civilization is bad for orcs. Elven claptrap. Pah!
Now. Claptrap's a completely different situation.
See? That's what I mean. You have rage, points towards Big. You have rage, points towards Frida. The human has... But these elf-infested people... It's a
All right,
civilization. Ah,
You just have nothing to offer to actually make me angry.
What's made them so civilized?
Elf blood does that to people, I think.
No, not them. The orcs.
Elf blood does that to people.
It's an old elf ruin. It's infecting their minds. They should get
You
away
mean-
from there.
Wouldn't that make the ancient elves the most rage-filled of all if we can simply alter your mind, changing your personality by you inhabiting our ruins?
I don't know.
I'm so confused.
Yeah, it's okay.
He seems pretty confused too. I mean, Celestial, if you want to do an insight roll on this fella.
Oh my god, yeah. I have a good idea, but yeah.
Can the stone do that? Can it pass? I'm so confused.
Well, Celestial.
Well, if the soul was speaking, it could influence, but that's not what's happening here.
I'll send you a
Is
message.
this guy just cray cray?
I'm about to get a message. This guy just cray cray.
Yeah, he's lying there and panting and holding over his chest wound. As Celestial is looking at him and thinking over what kind of a character this person is.
Picking up a drop of his blood.
Sure, that should not be
That's
a
my
problem at
brainer.
all. There you go. Add to your collection.
No, it's elf blood that does it, not orc blood. You misheard him.
Well, he wants to do a comparison.
Yeah.
It will get you to your rage. The easier and the Roka have it right still. Her fallen clan.
What?
Pretty sure he's drunk.
Or one too many hits to the head.
Yeah, so what do you do with him?
It's your turn.
Fine. So, Celestial, what do
Frida
we
walks away.
Yes, think of this
Brainard.
person? Should we allow him to continue to venture in these woods and risk meeting in with another group of elves? Or should we escort him to the nearby beach line? Or should, well, since he attacked unprovoked, dispose of him accordingly? And Beak, also, since, we talked previously about our gratuity of the last group that we've met, I guess this should probably be a more group decision on how we deal with, rabid orcs.
I appreciate that. Yeah, honestly, I think we should just take his weapons away and leave him to his own madness. He seems to be enjoying the, way of the rage, and you know what? If that makes him happy to yell at squirrels, I am more than happy to allow them to continue.
It's a
And if
hand
another...
axe.
Sorry, go ahead,
Yeah,
Mikhail.
he has a hand axe, a small shield, and a short bow, and a quiver filled with arrows, which might be, handy for Soren.
If he happens to come across more unwary travelers and attacks them unprovoked, and they're not as well equipped as we are, does that become our fault?
Well, let's just, if it's okay with everybody, put the fear of
No,
the unknown into him.
Let's take his arms and armor.
He doesn't have
He's
any
clearly proven unworthy of them.
Don't take his arms. We already punctured his lung.
armor.
Big, not literally.
Okay, good, because I was thinking the same thing.
And then we would like to put some fear into him, because I'm
Yes.
very good at that.
He's highly susceptible at this point.
So if someone wants to take his weapon and shield, I'll pick up the bow and arrows, offer the arrows to Soren.
I assume his weapon and shield are already on the ground.
Yeah,
What type of weapon is this?
it's a hand axe.
Sure. Yeah. Can always chop more wood later.
Who takes that? Brenner? Okay. Let's not forget to put it on your gear.
And
As
do I even have to make the might roll to intimidate?
No. You really don't.
He's still
So-
literally underfoot.
Brenner,
Yeah.
you have a lot of stuff already in your gear. If you take the hand axe, you will be encumbered.
I can take it.
You can absolutely take it.
Okay.
Frida's got more than enough strength to carry all of your shit.
Yes.
So I will take my foot off of him.
Yep.
I will lean down in real close so he can see all the teeth. And I will tell him, you will put your rage away. You will not attack anybody else. and you will live. Or I will find you, and you won't live. Understood?
Understood. Understood.
Good.
Understood. Yeah, he's scared now. He's not gonna do anything untoward.
A wolfkin in your face will do that.
Yep. All right. Yeah, he seems passive enough at this point, and obviously he needs to heal from the wounds inflicted from everyone, including the halfling. Maybe those wounds take longer to heal than the others. He'll remember those insults for a long time. Why did you have to go and drag his mother into this?
You wounded his self-conscious.
You can refill it to a D12 there, Soren.
Yep, I got it.
Right, so that's the morning's adventure in that hex.
Squirrelomancy.
Yeah. Yeah,
Goddamn
the squirrel has
squirrels.
disappeared somehow during this commotion.
That's the true enemy, spies of squirrels.
Soren, I would check your bag for holes just to be safe. Make sure he didn't chew his way out.
Didn't look like
Yeah,
it did.
I'll give my stuff to once over, and I assume that I'll reduce my food rations by 1 die for the stuff that I lost to him.
Actually, it's a squirrel stomach. You didn't lose that much. Negligible for this.
Well, I'm assuming he ate some, and then he nibbled on some, and then he shit on some.
That's fair. That's fair. Remove 1 step on your food dice. Now you have to make another raft.
Ah, shit.
Squirrel shit.
Yeah.
Squirrel crap.
Doesn't matter how much of a woodsman you are, squirrel shit is never a good thing on your food.
Okay, we still have some
Well-
leftover venison.
Not gonna lie, if I was actually hungry,
It wouldn't stop you.
no, not even a little.
It's a little nutty though. So
So you spread it on your bread.
That's
Oh,
fine.
gosh.
Conveniently, I have some water to wash it down with.
squirrel tastes good on toast.
Hmm.
So you're gonna make like a raft?
I will.
Someone?
Yeah.
will?
It didn't kill us last time.
Exactly. Who is the best with crafting?
Bruno.
Who's chopping some logs so I can build a raft?
Yeah.
7.
Don't forget
I'll get
the
a hand axe, and that's
and,
1
rope.
And I will assist with the wood chopping, so that
Yep.
gives you another die.
Yeah, as another skill die. So you get 2 black dice and an extra red one. Ba-boom! That's
Oh, wow.
a raft. That's pretty solid. 4 dice.
There's like these 3 trees.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna say that it cuts down on the time that you need to make the raft. So that means that you can in fact explore another hex before you get to noon.
Alrighty. Well, since this all went so well last time,
Exactly.
You got this, Soren. No more squirrels, though.
No more squirrels.
I'm saying that they're the friendliest, most gossipy animals here, other than robins. Those birds just never shut up.
God damn it.
Oh, Jesus, Soren.
Wow. Have
Push
you
it, get
succeeded
some
with a
willpower
single
back.
survival roll yet? Well, except for single lead the way roll, you haven't.
I don't think I've actually succeeded on any survival rolls. It's just the fact that I have Path of the Forest. I can spend willpower to survive.
But
No,
you
the-
succeeded the
the,
very first time.
Your make camp rolls have all succeeded, but not the lead the way rolls.
But yeah, I will push that.
Yeah.
Remove that.
That succeeds. And
Yay!
gives you a willpower point. That way. You've never
So,
been
yeah, it
on
takes
this
me a
side
minute.
before.
Yeah, I've never been this side of the lake before, and honestly, that squirrel has completely thrown me off my game.
It was an annoying
He's
squirrel.
He's gonna go home and tell all his squirrel friends.
He got one up on you.
He does.
He's got cred now.
Yeah. All right. So I don't know about you guys, but today has been nothing but a shit fest for me. So once everything's ready, I'm gonna be turning in.
Camp?
You guys go ahead. Once everything's ready. I'll sleep while you're setting up camp.
I will hunt something, I guess.
So this was just the first quarter day. You still have.
Oh,
I mean,
this is
Oh.
just the morning.
We have another hex we can
You're at
cover.
noon now. You could potentially reach that village in the late afternoon,
All right, well,
provided
let's try for the
nothing
village
happens in
then.
the next hex.
Whoosh.
Yeah, so we're not terribly far from the village there, so we may as well push for it.
We can mostly follow the water to get there too, can't we?
Yeah, you can.
Damn it!
The water's what confuses him.
I keep seeing like fish popping out and stuff.
And mimicking, and they're just making squirrel sounds.
I think sometimes it's a squirrel, sometimes I think Big is just antagonizing me, but I can't quite catch her at it.
Big walking behind.
Exactly.
Enormously distracted
And I-
by something today. Really not Sora's
Okay.
day.
Alright. Yeah, I'm gonna push that.
Okay, that's going to be a lot of willpower for you.
Yeah.
And you're going to be super tired by the end of this day.
I am so frustrated at that point.
Yep.
I get the feeling I'll be setting up the camp.
Yeah, you will. And we have a second mishap.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Don't you have a willpower from the last time?
Yeah, he does.
Oh, I have tons of willpower.
But
Then
he
why
doesn't-
don't you just use a willpower?
He didn't want to.
Because at this point, Sora's just like, no, god damn it, I can do this. No, I can't.
That pride catching up to him.
Hey, it's gone now. He's losing all sense of self.
What happens this
That's right.
time is, in fact, you take a wrong step there, Soren, and you smash your ankle pretty bad when the ground underneath it just sort of falls away. So you now have a sprained ankle. The healing time is a D6. This is critical injury. Counts as a critical injury.
Ooh.
The healing time is a D6. I can roll it. You can roll it.
Look at it here.
Yeah. That's a 6 days for healing that
Oh,
sprained
no.
ankle. And
Damn it.
you,
When you finally succeed.
for you to run becomes a slow action because of that sprained ankle.
If Soren will allow her, Frida would carry him.
Oh, hell
If
no.
he'll allow her.
Big could have a look at that ankle and halve the healing time down to 3 days.
Yeah, with the
Successful
path of
hero.
the hymn, or
No.
Or just healing?
Healing roll.
Just
yeah.
medicine.
This is the healing roll. The hymn gets you hit points back, but this is a critical injury, so that's how that works.
Well,
That's
Yeah.
indeed halved. The healing time is down to 3 days. Beeg manages to do very well with the bandages and put some exactly the right type of herbs on there to soothe the ankle.
Are you sure you should be walking on that, Soren?
It's not very far.
Fine.
He's limping now.
Okay.
Who is doing the keeping watch at this stage?
Well, at this stage, I'd still be keeping watch.
I think so.
Ain't nothing get past Celestial Passage.
This is entirely true. This is entirely true. And
It's a
you
gift.
will hear
Tosses hair.
interesting sounds up ahead. You've been walking, so this is going to be mid-afternoon now. I think your tummies are starting to growl a bit.
I did feed everybody breakfast.
You did. You did. We haven't checked off food as such, but that's okay.
What about second breakfast?
I've been keeping track.
But Celestial will be able to pick up the noise first. You can hear singing up ahead.
Singing?
Yeah, and the soft beat of drums. Maybe there's a flute in there as well.
Well, that doesn't sound nearly as dangerous as it could be.
Indeed.
That doesn't make it not dangerous.
This is also true.
Well, that's why we have you. So, cautiously go forward.
I would be less cautious about that. You know, I'll pull
Yeah,
out
that's
my
kind of
flute.
your thing. There's a song and some music.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. No, I'd perk right up. It's like civilization, you know, pull out my flute. Let's get her.
Damn, this day gets better.
Let's make sure that the music's not magical first. Can we do that?
How?
If it's
What?
magical, they would have had to use the spell Obscure Magic, because Brennar can't, or Celestial can't sense any magic coming from it right now.
Frida doesn't know.
No, but I'm telling them.
Yeah, we automatically sense in short range.
Yeah.
She-
it's not
she
short
doesn't
range
trust
yet. It's
shit
too far away.
anymore.
It's too far away at the moment, of course.
Yeah.
But the closer you get to it, the more you hear singing and music, and you're starting to hear voices as well, shouting of joy, apparently.
God, this is a trap.
That's some
It's an orgy.
human
trap.
voices and
It's a trap
some
orgy.
orc voices as well.
Human and orc.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's a really cool orgy. Let's get it.
Do you always run towards death?
I always run towards orgies.
Sometimes they're the same thing.
you're noticing that you're getting very close to the end of the forest at this point. The trees are getting more space. There's much more space between the trees.
What do I smell at this point?
Oh, you can smell cooking and food and ale. Yep.
And a little hint of shame.
Not much, no. Celestial
That's what the
is,
ale's
That's
for.
an entirely different smell.
That's me. Sorry.
Celestial is of course, as always, the first one to spot something, and you can see between the trees there's a clearing up ahead, and there's like a wooden stage there, and there's flowers on it, and there's people with violins and accordions on the stage. There's
Some
a
kind
party
of
going on here.
Festival?
A
Yes,
bandstand?
Festival.
Yeah, sounds like a festival.
Yes,
Let's
it
go
is.
join.
So yeah,
I guess we'll walk into town.
as we
I'll
approach,
cue the music.
Yep.
as we approach, I'll I guess do a performance. I'll take out my own flute and try and chime into whatever tune they have.
Yeah,
I
for
will
sure.
stay well to the back and let Big lead this shit show.
You will notice, too, that the party in question consists of... Oh, you're a bit earlier with the performance, but we'll keep that roll. Consists of humans and orcs. They're standing in two different groups. But in the center of this group, at the edge, I should say at the edge of the glade, but it's in a position of honor, if you will, that has the center of attention for everyone, so they're not even noticing you as you're walking through the forest. There is a human man dressed in white, and a woman, also seems human enough, also dressed in white. both
it's a wedding.
adorned with flowers.
Or a sacrifice.
And
Frida.
yeah, there's a lot of and there's
Aren't they
tables
the
here
same?
with food. Lots of tables with food and ale, barrels, and people are some are just happily singing along, and yeah, there's dancing as well. There, some people standing there in a ring and dancing together. Woo!
Do
There's
any of you
cherish-
recognize this festival?
Lore?
If you want.
I'm pretty sure it's a wedding, but
A
Not like any
festival
wedding
of
I've
the
ever been to.
joined bonds.
It's a wedding.
It's for the village next door. It's half orcs, half human.
yep. This is totally a wedding, Frida.
Sorry, I
you can
guess
put your guard down.
Wolfkin wedding are a little bit more violent.
Maybe, yes.
Aru.
See the bride over there? You can barely see the tusks. She's hiding them well.
Oh.
She looks human
Is
enough.
that what the dress is for? Sorry.
The dress is
Wolfkin-
bulky. This is true. The dress is quite bulky.
So I'll fluff my hair a bit to cover my more elven features.
In Wolfkin weddings, there's usually like a sacrifice, and then the bride and groom, yeah, it's
Fight
not
over it, and then
pretty.
They sacrifice cake.
and then they have
No.
battle sex.
Kinda.
There'll be violence tonight, but just not the same way.
So, are you approaching them? They still haven't noticed you. 'Cause they're focused on people here.
I don't know. Are we gonna crash a wedding?
I am totally crashing this wedding.
I also agree with Beg. This would be awesome.
All right, let's go crash a wedding.
Congratulations, we are now Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson. We are the wedding crashers.
Yeah, you come in there, and
Wow.
someone will notice you sooner or later. And hey, how are you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. Do you know the bride or the groom?
Yes.
Food's over there. Ale
Sorry,
there.
just no. Food's over there.
And come, have you had the chance to say hello to them yet? Huh, the happy couple. Ha ha ha! Big red beard on this fellow. These people.
Here,
look,
Soren, let's get you over to the bench by the food,
These people.
I'll
away from the people.
just
some
talk our
people
way
are,
into
are
this.
looking a bit, sideways at Frida as she comes stomping in there with a longsword and armor and stuff. But she's not, charging anyone, and she's together with these other people. So clearly they're part of the wedding, or something. There's some children looking like at her, but also looking like that kind of at Big. Maybe they never seen a halfling before.
Yeah, no.
But someone is kind of just this fellow with a red beard. He's oh hello, my name is Brynjar. How are you? And he's just sort of shoving you up towards the
Bryn
the
Army,
couple.
Brynjar.
Yeah,
They're both from the vineyard, so it's all right.
yeah. He's shoving you up towards the happy couple, and both of them seem to assume that you know the other one, and introduce themselves
hey, Josh. It's like whenever we meet people.
as Trega and Robert, and they shake your hands and say thank you so much for coming. We appreciate it so much.
I'll lean down to Big and whisper, "What am I supposed to say?"
And then you're just shoved through that line because there were so many other people waiting to.
Congratulations, bye.
Exactly.
Oh,
And then you're
'Cause-
kind of through, and people just let you be there.
In all honesty, Frida, I don't think Frida would have ever been to a wedding that's not a Wolfkin wedding, and Wolfkin wedding would be much more violent than this.
Yeah, I think Frida's probably quite confused by this.
Yeah.
What's that roll for, B?
I was gonna try and BS my way through,
Into
but
the wedding party proper.
yeah.
You're into the wedding already.
I am big. I'm the matron of honor.
I was gonna be the flower girl.
Give me that basket.
They apparently didn't notice you and didn't give you
No.
the basket.
Just pushes over some orc kid. Is like, watch this.
I'll show you how it's done.
Yeah. Frida's just taking it all in. I'm thinking, Wolfkin wedding are a lot more like Dothraki from Game of Thrones.
Probably.
So when's the horse get involved?
Yeah.
And but apparently you've been invited to stay. So here you go. You have a wedding to crash. There's food
Lovely.
here. There's ale here. All the ale you can drink. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Rainier will make his way over to that, probably to see Soren already into it.
Frida will scope out the food and anything that she might be able to take that's portable, she'll shove into her bag.
Sure.
Don't
Don't look at me like that.
Without problems, top up your food supply to a D12 again if you so need that. And I will count, but say that you have eaten and drunk your fill for the day. No problem at all.
I like to think that Soren kept trying to make his way towards the food, and somebody just kept like ushering him towards the bride and groom. And it took him like 5 or 6 tries to get to the food because that's the kind of day he's having.
Pretty much.
And by the time he gets there, I just offer him a sandwich.
At some point,
Like all the good stuff is gone. Like all that's left now are the deviled eggs.
at some
Deviled
point, I
eggs,
would like to
deviled
think that Frida would like just come over and grab him and like
I
pull
saved
him
you a
towards the
sandwich
food.
and I saved Frida a giant turkey leg.
Anyone
Frida
wanna
just starts
dance?
pulling food out of her pack and handing it to Soren.
B can definitely make a big impression here with some performance. You've already did the role, so there will be people
They'll
listening.
never forget
Is
you.
this you're playing with music?
Yeah, so as I guess as Soren is dodging dance requests, trying to get over to the food, I'll start playing my flute. Yeah.
Yeah. And you get an audience pretty fast, and they will listen and dance to your music and be very happy.
It's considered, strange and unusual sounds for them. So
It probably is. You get an enraptured audience of some orcs and some humans. There might be a dwarf in there as well. And yeah, they're listening to that. And when you're done, they will give a warm round of applause. And someone is saying, "Oh, I had no idea they had actually gotten a halfling minstrel as well for this wedding. This is great." Best.
Wedding
This
gift.
is the best minstrel they've done so far. More.
So, Raynar, are we sure the orcs are the bad guys?
It's all about interpretation, Frida.
These orcs
I
aren't
should have learned
those
this from
orcs.
last time.
This might
Everybody's a
not go
bad guy.
this might not go as easily as we think it's gonna go.
Well, we'll start with the talking, and then we'll bring out the swords, worst case.
I really don't want to do another revolution.
These orcs aren't those orcs.
I want to burn
s-
another city to the ground.
Celestial,
Don't
feel
burn
free
their
to
city
roll
to
an
the
insight
ground.
while someone else is dancing or what have you.
And I'll try to grab Big's attention when she's done performing. And now that you've got a bit of a fan base here, maybe ask the orcs if they know anything about the Eye of the Rose. Like, what are we walking into?
Yeah, that's a good use of manipulation for you.
yeah,
Big.
no, that's a great idea. Yeah.
Yeah. While Big is attempting to do this, feel free to roll the manipulation. Okay, that doesn't work. Apparently the orcs get gruff. "Oh, I don't want to talk about that now. Out of my way." And
Play that song again. Come on. what are you
play the song again.
The one with the flute.
You play well. Talk less, play more. Celestial, you will notice something interesting here because you did have 2 successes on that. There is in this midst, just by looking at behaviors here, most people here are very happy and celebrating and so on, but you do see 2 clusters of people. One is an orc cluster and one is a human cluster, and they seem to not be partaking in the fun. They're mostly just keeping to themselves and talking with themselves at this stage.
Ah.
The glances that they are shooting are not happy ones.
The Montague and Capulet parts of the family. I'll quietly make Frida aware of our potential trouble on the sides.
Frida will at that point try and keep an eye on both of those sides of the party and also keep an eye on exactly where her individual party members are in case they accidentally step into trouble.
Yeah, where's Brenner at this point?
Probably circulating with the orcs.
Yeah, you know what?
You guys look all awfully upset. Can I help you with that?
Let me make you more angry.
Yeah, no, he's definitely filling his fill probably near Soren, and yeah, mainly just staying next to the food.
That
Right.
makes it easier for me.
Is that where Soren is as well, or are you sort of exiting the throng?
Soren is staying at the edge of the crowd, but still close to the food. And despite all of his protestations as he's walking, that no, my foot is fine, Anytime anybody comes up to dance, he just kind of points at the bandages and is like, not today.
Which is convenient, because it means that people will leave you alone.
Damn right.
So the only one actually in the crowd then is Big.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, phrase like that.
So Frida will just keep her eye on the two opposing sides and make sure that Big's not getting too close to either one or getting into any trouble, getting roughed up any.
Yeah, it's hard to keep track of everyone here, because there's so many people moving back and forth. There must be, a couple of dozen, say 3 or 4 dozen perhaps.
Her main focus is watching to make sure Big doesn't start getting pushed around.
Well,
yeah,
but I will-
There's a risk. So-
I, in between my song, I finished the song. I was like, "Hey, who knows about the rose crystals and rubies?" Ah, and everybody's just like, "Sing the other song again."
Exactly.
And
Do the one with the
Minstrel.
flea-bitten wolf.
Halfling minstrel.
and
Halfling
occasional
minstrel.
glances towards the opposing sides.
And indeed, that's when there is a kerfuffle somewhere in the middle. A human and an orc start with fisticuffs. And as they start, there's a shove, and one of them come down to the ground. Yeah, you large tusked brute! And there's a hit. Fists fly.
Those tusks aren't that large.
And they...
Almost. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, and of course there's a response. And as the orc responds, more orcs come that way. What did you call us? And then more humans start gathering towards this central place. And yeah, there is a brawl breaking out.
How involved do we want to get?
Not.
Okay.
Get Big out of there, and that's about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Frida will move onto the floor because she's big enough to push through and herd Big out of the party.
Yeah, the music ends really abruptly as this fight starts, and other people start fighting as well. So, as that gets everybody's attention, it's fairly easy for you to just withdraw and leave the area if you want.
Party's over, love. Let's go.
Indeed.
So I'll definitely.
Yeah,
follow her.
you can hear the scuffling and fighting, and maybe you can see a goblet flying. It's getting a bit ugly there.
Reinhardt, grab the nicest bottle of wine.
I already have.
Exactly. Yeah, so I guess that with that you're back into the forest again.
That was a nice diversion.
You can now that's not sounds of joy and feasting behind you, but more screams of anger and outrage, and well, who knows how that ends.
Well, so much for that being a place to rest.
When Orcomania runs wild over you.
Well, if we push on, we can probably make it to that village.
You should be able to, yeah.
Yeah, let's push on.
And I will move your token out of the forest and to the plains. And is that a final lead the way roll we have there?
It's a check for lead the way.
Survival.
Yeah, I can make it if
I can make the roll.
Yeah, I
to,
Yeah,
think,
just
gonna
I
say
think
either or.
Soren is spent.
Yeah, I'm down to like 3 days.
Yeah. Limping. Celestial does well.
Oh, sure, show off.
Well, I have lived much of my life in the wildlands as well.
As you get
I
to
suppose.
the edge of the forest, you'll see that the trees are thinning out even more, and you will start hearing the sound of someone is chopping wood, and there is a lot of sounds of a sawmill, in fact. Yeah, so that's where you're getting now, to some kind of civilization here. And we can, in fact,
Ah, sawmill.
yes, indeed.
The perfect place for Brainer to blow the whole place up by accident with fire magic.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
And it's blood, my friend. Blood, not fire.
I want to move
Spark one way.
the map a bit closer here. There we go. This map I designed.
Cool.
Okay, I'm just going to move it a little bit because I noticed that it has... There we go, that's better. And you come in up there. Just on the edge of the forest. And this would be a sawmill. You have some farmlands and you have a wall. A stone wall that runs around.
I prefer our chances with the farmer than inside the town, but I'm just one person.
Yeah, let's find out the occupants here. I also agree with Celestial that maybe it's best to go around. Just depends on who's in there.
You can see people. There is at least one or two guards, militia, what have you, manning the parapets, watching.
Humans, orcs.
Looks like, well, they're humanoid for sure, from this distance.
They're dorks.
Well, I mean, I'm certainly not going to suggest that we rush right into a village.
I kind
Big,
of
meanwhile, is like
Yeah.
running and skipping towards the gate.
Oh, houses! No more tents! This is great!
Someone is
Grab her by
happy?
the scruff of the neck. Hang on a second. Let's just make sure they're not going to kill us.
Yeah, you'll hear. It doesn't. The sounds you hear from inside. I mean, you can see some people there by the farmlands tilling. Obviously, it hasn't really grown yet because it's so early in the spring. But there are definitely farmers working there with their equipment to plow the fields, and there is a large supply, really, of timber just by the sawmill. You'll see a few people. Again, like the wedding party, these humans look like islanders. You'll have the rough tunics, the hoods, simple belt hoses, and sort of legging straps that would this be, real life medieval? It would be Saxon or Frankish outfits. Simple, rustic, practical.
Are they all human, or are there orc mixed in as well this time around too?
So far, you've only seen humans.
Okay.
Judging by the fracas back at the wedding, I would assume that they're probably pretty isolationist. They're probably not keen on the mixing of the two.
Yet they were getting married.
Probably trying to unite the clans, but not everyone agreed.
Maybe.
Yeah.
However, this does
Great
seem
move.
a likely place that we can get a vessel to the other village we want to go to.
Yeah, you can see the piers right here. There are boats there, lots of boats. Some are obviously fishing vessels, probably most, but there might be one or two trading boats as well. Hard maybe to tell the difference because all the boats you would have seen are made for lake or river travel.
We'll need a good night's rest before we go that far too. So
Yeah, like we've been traveling for the better part of the day now.
Yes, you have.
See if there's an inn in here.
This is a pretty
Regardless
big,
of-
This is as settlements go. This is a good deal bigger than Fort Riverstone. It's probably and certainly bigger.
There
than
might be
Peddler's
two.
Rest. There could be a few hundred people living here, as far as you can see.
You rich people talking like you have money to just throw away on inns.
do, don't we?
A little bit, yeah.
I suggest we use a bed for a change instead of moss and rocks. So
It would be nice to sleep in a bed. Worst case scenario, I can build or trade or do something for my own rest.
yes, like finally with me. Let's do this. Sleep under an actual roof in a bed. Let's do this right now. And I just start beelining it for what I assume
Beelining
would be-
it. You're not beelining it, you're
Big
beelining
line,
it.
yeah, that's it. For what I assume would look like most likely an egg.
Well,
Soren, you
can't
should really
see any-
elevate that ankle as well. So some pillows underneath of it tonight would probably be a good idea.
That's another reason for sailing tomorrow. That'll be part of the healing process, not having to move.
Doesn't
Keeping your
change
leg
the
up.
fact
Yep.
that I've literally, let's see, if a night at the inn is what, like a couple of copper pieces, that's a couple copper pieces of more than I own.
Tell you what, I'll pay your share.
Oh, I was
We'll figure it
planning
out.
to make an arrangement with the horses in the stable.
Yeah, we'll figure
Oh,
it
that's a
out.
great
Right?
idea.
Whatever you do between the horses is your own business, but I don't think that will give us lodging.
Yeah, no,
Cool.
bedding down with the wildlife is fine.
The gate would be over here, and you can see it's a well-trodden path that leads there. It's clear that the lumberjacks are basically transporting their cargo, their lumber on wagons, and drive them into town.
Okay.
Hey, maybe these people have a demon problem that we can get paid to help.
Sure.
Or maybe
Yeah, we-
they'll just have something mundane.
At this point, even if
Check
they
the
don't
temple.
have even if they
I
don't have
agree.
a demon problem, we might be able to convince them that they might have a demon problem.
Don't
Egg, I'm
erroneously convince
absolutely.
people.
But like the witch finders in medieval England, is that what we're
Yes.
There's definitely a demon here because I say so.
No.
If the witch floats,
every year
Like
like
a duck.
retractable pin
I mean,
so that you
With-
can pick them and not bleed.
with Big's manipulation roll, I'm sure she could pull it off. But does she want to? That's the question.
Jess finds that insulting.
Well,
Um,
history is not kind.
No, it's not.
should I move the party to the gates then?
Yes, please.
Yes.
All right.
Sadly, yes.
Exactly, yes. Yeah, there are some soldiers there. They're dressed in leather jerkins, have shields and spears. They have slightly better, equipment than in Fort Riverstone. This place definitely has more money. And as you come up there, "Ho there, strangers! Who are you, and what is your errand in Westport?"
Would step up, and we are weary travelers looking for respite. Mercenaries as well. If you happen to have any problems of a more demonic nature.
Demonic. No demons around
right.
here, travelers.
See, told you not to lead with that.
Well, it's been going around this area lately, and there's probably stories that you've heard by now coming even over here from Riverstone and other places where they've been, in incredible danger by these ferocious demons, and these two here, and I would gesture to.
And
the other
feel
two.
free to roll your reputation there, Brennar or Frida.
How do I roll reputation?
You should have it on top of your sheet. There is a button for reputation there, and you should basically have, I think,
Oh, yep.
2 dice for it for you. Brennar has 4 dice.
Because
because he's
I
Brenner's
have
old.
none.
Ooh, Frida, the Wolfkin, is known to these. How about
Because I'm
Brennar?
a Wolfkin.
Yep.
I
Distinctive
assume
feature.
they don't get a whole lot of them in these parts, and then
Yeah.
you add
Kinda
Demon
stand
Slayer
out.
to that.
Distinctive feature. Wolfkin with a huge longsword. Yeah. Brennar, did you want to roll?
Having difficulties. One sec.
Yeah, the buttons are sticky for some reason.
Yeah. It might just be Roll20. Yeah, they haven't heard of Brennar apparently, but oh yeah, we heard about a Wolfkin who killed some slavers. Would that be you then?
Yes. Yes, that would be me.
Hmm. Well, slavers have no business here, that's for sure. So you were involved in that Fort Riverstone mess?
Yeah, there
we
were
heard some
some
people coming over
demons
here.
behind the power.
Goblin attack, whatnot, I'm not sure. There was a lot of mayhem.
Turns out the people in positions of power were demon worshippers.
Oh, really?
Mm.
Huh.
They had to be taken down.
See, we heard something about, adventures making trouble over there. Michaela, feel
adventures
free
always
to
make
roll
trouble.
manipulation at this stage.
Adventure's always making the trouble. Big.
Typically, yeah.
No, I that was for Michaela to roll.
Oh,
She's taking the lead on the conversation, right?
sorry, go ahead. I was the one talking. I thought you meant
I
me.
mean, you still
Yeah,
got
no,
one, which is
It's
Well, I
impressive.
would kind of slide her over and try.
yeah, you might want to push that.
Can I assist with my reputation?
No, but I'll give you an extra skill die for them having. So, like, yeah, with the reputation, I'll give you an extra skill die for that, and another red die for that. We have heard of you.
Okay, it is a little sticky, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
It
noticed.
takes it a minute for whatever reason.
I've noticed.
Yeah, I just click it and let it go, and eventually it pops up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've had some double rolls tonight.
There we go.
Okay. No, wait. So if you.
Oh, 2 less.
Yeah, exactly.
And one more red.
Yep.
So you had to click 4 in your white column and 2 on your red.
There you go. That's it. Okay, so you gain 3 willpower points. You have taken 3 points of damage to your empathy. Because these guards
That's the price
frustrate
of this
the
game.
heck out of you. But they do take your story. And apparently, I mean, if Frida is in company of this with this absolutely charming halfling, clearly she's absolutely harmless. And was
Yeah,
in fact,
sure,
is
harmless.
the hero that protected Fort Riverstone from slavers and demons. Yep, that's how it is. That's the story you're
hero.
going with, Big?
I'm a hero.
What is the story you're going here with, Big?
Other adventurers were behind the other troubles.
No, like I would probably, I regale them with the tale that they've uncovered the corruption, seated in the demon worshippers and things like that.
Oh.
Friendly townsfolks and militia being, sacrificed, and these intrepid young heroes, half young.
By the gods! Whale, protect us! Well, good riddance then. I suppose there's a good reason then for all this hubbub. Anyway, well, I'm sure adventurers like yourselves can always find some hire. I know there are always some coming through here, so if you're not here to make trouble, you're welcome in. Keep an eye on you, but seem like decent enough folks. If you've cleaned up some demons, I'm not going to argue with that. We have some taverns here if you need to find them. You'll find the Rumping Lantern down by the market. That's probably where you want to go, really. It's down by the water.
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you for your suggestion, good sir.
No trouble at all.
Very much. Let's go hit
Oh,
that.
I forgot. 1 copper each as the gate tax, please.
Damn civilization.
Rainer takes it and pays it in full for the party.
All right.
I was like, I got the short bow. How much is this worth?
Because I can't remember how much copper we have, Brainer.
I've
They
got
can
1
see it
silver
now,
and
it's
8
like-
copper.
I probably
Come
have
on in.
roughly the same.
Come on in. That's the silver, or just a copper, and then you pull out a bow. It's like, oh, I'll trade. It's like, oh.
Yeah, no, you will get in through the gate. Right next to the gate, you'll find, in fact, a temple. This one is a temple to clay.
Well, it's not Raven, so it might be safe.
Well,
Well, regardless if it's demon infested, we can find out about that tomorrow.
There are, in fact,
Yeah.
there is, in fact, at least a couple of Elven Spring there tending to it.
oh, excellent.
Druids
Yeah,
like
everything's on the up
yourself.
and up. Ha 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 ha.
Druids like yourself,
Mhm.
of course.
Yeah, we can look into it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I don't know if we actually want to stay at the recommended tavern, though.
Are there other taverns in town?
Well, they said there were a few. They just recommended that one.
Yeah, you'd have to ask someone. I mean, there's lots of people around you all the time, going and forth, back and forth. Quick
The
look over
recommended one
the
is probably fine.
looking over the population here. You will notice. I mentioned a couple of Elven Spring. It's predominantly human. At least 7 of 10 that you see will be human islanders. Every once in a while, you'll see a dwarf or an Elven Spring walking by.
I might not get as many looks.
You're getting looks for sure. And
I
as,
won't.
As
You
is the
won't.
no halfling will also get looks. There doesn't seem
Both
to be too
weird.
many halflings here. You're very far away from halfling heartlands here. So halflings will be few and far between, though not necessarily unknown. But yeah, that's
Pig likes the attention anyway, so she's gonna like walk down Main Street.
Oh no, the worst Spider-Man.
God.
Rita just
Alright.
tries to blend in, probably miserably so.
Like, just
probably
put up your
miserably
hood.
So.
It doesn't cover the feet.
It doesn't matter. They're not. They're looking at your face.
My hood doesn't cover the whole muzzle.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
enough to keep people from immediately paying attention.
Fair enough.
So are you gonna talk to people about?
We'll get you a wolfen mask.
Are you talking to people about other taverns, or are you going to suggest the suggested one?
I'll leave that up to you guys.
The suspicious hunter guy said this one the the recommended one should be fine.
Yeah, we can go there.
The way these tend to work in my experience is the inn that's recommended, if they make 10 silver from the guards recommending it, then they kick one of those over to the guards. So it's probably safe.
Yeah, I always trust the locals first anyway. So they live here. They probably spent the most time in the tavern and the inn themselves,
Yeah.
as working guys. So yeah.
Especially if there's a pier and it's right near the pier.
Besides, it's Rumping Tavern. Like, where can you go wrong with a name like that?
So many places.
So your decision is?
We hobble onwards to the recommended tavern.
Fair enough.
Hobble onwards.
Up
Yeah.
to the rump.
I mean, they did say down by the market, and it's not too hard to find it. So I'm just gonna sort of move the party token along. They do have this interesting innovation here. The streets are in fact led with wooden planks, which makes it much easier to walk here. Such a difference from just walking around in mud. Maybe too slippery for Soren's tastes?
Yeah, Soren is walking not on the road.
And you'll get down, and of course you will see a lot of boats down here by the piers. People are, the fishermen are coming in now. It's late in the afternoon, and they're hauling up their catch for the day. It smells strongly of fish down here.
Weird.
There are some billboards with someone has put up some messages of some kind, but you'll also see the market down here.
You notice Frida breathing through her mouth.
There will be
What, you don't
farmers
like
who
fish?
are still selling their produce, and other
Sensitive
merchants who are selling cloth and crafted items, tools, what have you. It's a very typical...
As we walk past the piers and stuff, one of the fish folks will be like, "Does anybody here rent boats?"
Yeah, sure. You'll be able to find them at the Rumping Lantern, typically. But we have a few folks around here who can rent a passage, if that's what
Any
you
idea
need.
what the going rate is?
Well, it depends on how you ask, but I'd say a few coppers apiece per day, depending on how far you want to go.
Okay.
That's reasonable.
I mean, one of us would have to not go out catch fish.
Yeah. Hate to take you away from that thrilling livelihood.
Well,
Well,
it's
is it
honest
possible
work,
to
sir.
is it possible to just draw the net behind as we go?
That's not how it works. Kind of laughs a
Oh,
little
so you
bit.
have they haven't discovered the far more efficient technique of trawling. Okay.
Rainer knows how to fish.
Yeah, not probably as well as them.
You will be able to spot the sign hanging from this building. That's definitely a tavern. Over here is something much more official looking. City Hall, perhaps. Many of the houses here are built from stone. Not all of them are wooden. You'd say maybe a third are wooden and the rest are built from stone.
Well, let's look for the place that's got the hanging tavern sign.
Yeah.
All right.
Do we want to sell the pelts as we're going by the market?
You could do that
On the
for
moose.
sure.
You can see if there's a market for for it.
There will be other trappers here selling their pelts as well. In fact, there are a couple of elves right there selling pelts just like you might be doing.
Here, Big. I'll give them to you. You'll probably get the most money from them.
Even offer it as fearsome pelts, and you can sell them at a reduced rate or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Demon
something
Slayer pelts, you know?
However you want to spin it, just split the money between the rest of us.
Exactly.
Pay your room and board tonight.
That's a good deal.
Let's see now. What did you roll? You didn't roll yet? Oh, was that? I'm gonna have you roll a manipulation to sell those things if you want to get some extra, with
Demon pelts.
cool tales of. Well, I'm gonna say that you succeed in selling them, but not at a particularly impressive price because you didn't get extra successes. So how many pelts did you have?
3.
3. So, but I think you had from previous hunting as
Oh,
well.
yeah, we had 2 boar pelts, too.
Exactly. There you go. So 5.
So 5.
And they
you
sell
could push that
for,
for more
uh,
successes.
They sell for 8 coppers apiece. So that's not bad. That's 8 times 5. There you go. That gives you 4 silver in total for all of them,
This
Unless you want to push, Michaela.
unless you want to push. But
Yeah, actually, I will push because I think it was wrong anyway.
no, you're
No, because your empathy's been reduced by your
your
damage.
empathy. Yeah, you're a bit grumpy.
Yep, you took damage.
You took damage before. That's right.
Right,
But
right.
you still would have 2 white and 1 red.
Yeah, you'll have 2 white and 1 red for the push.
Okay.
At least you won't break yourself. Okay.
Nope.
Yeah, that was... You didn't get any more money than that. You're in a
Alright.
bad mood, and you're snapping a little bit too much at the customers, so you're just happy to get those 4 silver.
Fair enough.
Meanwhile, I mean, there are guards around this place as well, so it's clearly, you know, the government building. Whatever kind of government they have here, you wouldn't be able to tell. But yes, the rumping lantern is right there. And unlike the shacks and barns, converted barns that were in Fort Riverstone, this is an actual well-built tavern of stone. It has places for horses, stables for horses. It has, you know, there's smoke coming out of the chimney. And there is a lot of feasting and screaming from inside. It seems to be fairly packed today. And people are going, yay, hooray, hooray! None of them seem to be intoxicated at this point. In fact, when you come to the place, what's in their goblets is some kind of herbal tea, maybe? Some people are drinking cow's milk, and some are drinking water.
No, it's too early for them to drink, apparently.
I thought it was the end of the workday.
I'll ask the innkeep. You got any ale?
What? Says the innkeep. It was a decently sized lady with lots of braids in her hair. You must be new to Newport, to Westport. There ain't no ale sold around here by order of the Count.
God damn it!
But we
It's
have
like the
a
one
very
thing
good herbal
civilization
tea
has.
and excellent lemon water. Also some goats or cow's milk if you would like that.
Y'all are a dry town. Seriously?
By order of the Count. Count Evald has this. He's very firm about it. There is, in fact, more music being played. It's a nice big tavern. Lots of tables inside. Smells lovely. There's probably a pig on a roast. And a big party on one side. You will hear every once in a while someone goes, "Happy birthday to you," and gives a good shoving to one of the guests there who has a lot of gifts piled up on a table. But that's not the only people in this tavern. Off to a side there on the left, by themselves, by another table, that's gotta be another group of adventurers by the looks of them. They have, you know, all the tools of the trade. Weapons of various kinds, sheathed, but available. They seem they sit there with some kind of, they have food and some kind of drink there.
Are they as bad a mixed bag as we are?
Possibly. One of them is either possibly an A-lander dressed with one of these sort of caps with a little top on it that folds down on the side. Another is a dwarf, quite old dwarf, long beard with braided, wears a studded leather armor and has an axe and shield strap and sits next to the dwarf in question. And there is a half-elf, judging by the slender appearance, and a human. So it's 2 humans, a half-elf, and a dwarf.
How much is it
Into
for
a
a
bar.
room?
Say again?
How much for a room?
For a room, you ask. Well, we do have some lodgings left. I'll charge you a good 7 coppers.
Does that include a meal?
It does not, sir.
Well, that does mean that we could eat in our rooms and partake of things that we have that they don't.
Yes. The adventurers over by the corner are giving you a look because they will recognize other adventurers as well.
I would probably start to traverse through the crowd while they're dealing with the innkeeper and try to make introductions.
Or Big goes off too far, I'll be like, hey, money from the belts. We need it for tonight.
It's probably a good idea. So I would give over that money.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, you can definitely use some of that money to pay for the lodging for sure.
That'll pay for a room for each of us almost, wouldn't it? Almost.
Yeah.
You'll have 5 copper left.
Sure, you'll have copper left.
Alright, I'm trying to think. This is the village where we told the elves to meet up with us, right?
You did say Eye of
Yeah.
the Rose.
Oh, I thought we had made plans when we split up to meet
At the village
outside of
before.
Did you say that? Because I recall it was the Eyes of the Rose.
No, the original plan that it was worked out was to try and meet them at that village at the mouth of the river.
Oh, okay. So it's this
Yes.
Village then.
Yeah.
Right. So I'll ask around to see if they've seen a group of elves traveling through.
They will.
It was the other, I thought, though, but
Is the other? I don't have the world map handy. So
yeah, we're at the one on the
If I show
one
you the
side of
one
the
map again?
mountain. We were gonna meet them on the one at the mouth of the river on the other side.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That one.
Okay.
There.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, they might have seen someone traveling through, but you never know. Fair enough.
All
My
right.
misunderstanding, but that's okay. You're asking around. They're gonna say no.
Okay.
I mean, they do see some elves. Yeah, sure. There's some elves down there selling their pelts now.
Perfect. Thanks. How many people do your room sleep?
Well, I think you can squeeze in all of you at the best, if you're not too particular.
So is it 7 copper a person or 7 copper for the room?
For the room.
Okay.
That's
How
more
many rooms
manageable.
do we want?
1.
I agree.
Okay.
So yeah, I think Celestial Passage is the right idea. We'll get the room and then we can eat our own foodstuffs.
Makes the most sense.
And if we decide that we're going to take a boat, it's going to take us... I don't think we're that far by the water, so it might only take us a day, but it's going to be probably at least probably 10 to 15 copper.
It counts as open terrain, so it would take you... Yeah, you'll get there almost by noon tomorrow if you head out in the morning.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know what your guys' funding situation is like, but I got this money from the pelts, so...
Yeah, I think that's probably our best bet. We use the money from the pelts for all of this.
I think it's going to be easier to take a boat than it is to hike through the mountains.
I agree.
Considering your leg, it's probably a good idea.
Yeah, and it's still early spring, so it's going to be cold in the mountains, so we're going to have to outfit for that.
Cold and with the melt, it will also be much more treacherous.
Yeah.
I didn't catch that last part at all. But that's alright.
Simply saying that with the melt, it would be far more treacherous in the mountains.
That could be the truth. The human fellow who has the cap, and in other words, the human man, because it's a human man and a human woman, among the adventurers, you know, he's waiting there for a little while, and then he's walking over to you. You'll notice that he has a longsword in the belt. He's walking over with a swagger a bit, and has stubbled beard. Apparently doesn't care too much to shave too often.
Rita's in this defensive stance. I don't have my weapons out yet, obviously, but just kind of blocking the way of everybody else.
Oh, calm down there. Calm down there. I mean you no harm, he says. Just curious about tidings from the road from fellow travelers, that's all.
Your best bet's to ask our minstrel.
Then I will then. And looks over and notices probably Big is the only one looking minstrel-y.
Yeah, so I would actually,
Would
under
have
the
gestured.
Yeah.
under the circumstances, could I use a performance role and try and sing about their tales at this point?
Sure, you can. Yeah. You're singing to this adventurer about, or because he
I'd be
introduces
like,
himself as Eskar Farthing. I'm from far down south, and I'm going back there. But I was curious about any news and tidings you might have.
Your song's off key there, Big.
Yeah, well, I was channeling Pete Postaway from Dragon Heart,
Yeah,
so.
little bit pitchy.
Big is a bit unnerved by, and possibly the ruckus from the birthday party throws you off as well.
But
I know
yeah,
you
you ever try and sing a song where there's a different tune going on? It's pretty hard.
That's hard, yeah.
I know you tried really hard, but demon does not rhyme with squirrel.
It
Even
does.
if that will haunt
Does in
his
my
nightmares.
language.
That is a strange way to rhyme. I'll give you that. Where have you been at, if you don't mind me asking?
We've been, Fort Riverstone. We've been through the Elven, whatever it's called.
And we're in.
And I would probably at that point look towards the elvish person and be like, yeah, hey,
You-
Mac.
Persons.
You
Cool.
got into Thamorin alive and
Uh,
out
to-
again?
That's
to
hard.
glorious applaud.
Well, I've heard of Thamorin. It's the place where the elves hide all their treasure, but it's also impossible to find it if you're not invited. And if you
It's
go
all
there, they
historical.
turn you into a tree. That's what I heard.
It's in
Technically, we
legends.
were invited.
You were invited
All
to Thamorin?
knowledge.
Do they have lots of gold? Jewels?
And to be fair, there used to be 7 of us, but some of them are trees.
Yes.
That's an attempt at manipulation, sir.
Oh, let's see how that goes.
Yeah, let's see how that goes.
Triumphantly.
Partially true.
I mean, I guess. On the other hand, Eskar's witch roll is not impressive.
Nice.
Eskar believes you. Wow, by the gods. Huh. Well, anyway, I wasn't really curious about going to places where there's still people. I'm more interested in finding ruins.
What can you tell us
Farmhouse.
about down south?
Well, if they had any ale here, we could share a goblet over this, but this town is dry as a burnt out river after the summer. Well, I can tell you this. One day, we're going to head to Weatherstone. We will do that.
Featherstone.
Yes.
Where?
Weatherstone.
Weatherstone,
Ah.
yes.
Okay.
I'm more
You
in
say
here
you
for
don't want to go to
inspiration.
Riverstone.
No, not Riverstone. Weatherstone. Different place altogether. It's far south, deep in Rust Brother lands.
What's there?
Well, they say that the cruel King Algarod, who declared war, he declared that Alderaan had become overcrowded, and he sought to expand his kingdom by leading an army into the Ravenland, as it was then. But then he fell in battle against the demonic hordes of the sorcerer Ziggofer. And as he was lost, so too was the scepter Nikaka, rumored to be the source of his power. Now, the will of the king burned so fiercely that he refused to die, and for ages he stood watch in the stronghold of Weatherstone. What I've heard is that Algarod, he will march again one day to retrieve the Spire of Nikaka and complete his conquest of the Ravenland. But the curse was broken, and the undead king and his men have been sent to their final rest. So that war chest, it's still there. And I'm gonna get it.
Good luck with that.
Why, thank you.
Just as a note, in the future, probably don't tell other adventuring parties about your plans to go and investigate ruins with, mythical war chests in them.
Treasure.
I think this is an interview. And, maybe when we got some time, considering it.
Well, I was
We do have a
hoping that-
penchant for demons.
I was hoping that way. Maybe we could make a deal of some sort.
What kind of deal?
Well, we split the treasure when we get there.
Well, we gotta go recover our rose first.
Oh, I see.
If we can't accomplish this, more of us will be turned into trees.
True.
The guys that put upon us.
What was that again? I'm sorry, your volume is coming about through a little bit low there.
If we can't accomplish this, more of us might become trees. The gas they put upon us.
Well, if you're already tied up, then
Well, when were you planning to head out?
soon enough. Gonna take hire with some of the merchants here and make our way south slowly. They always need guards.
Okay. Well, if we happen to find ourselves in the same neck of the woods at the same time, then we'll discuss, maybe.
Who knows what the future holds?
Indeed. Well, what was the name again?
Ours or yours?
I've already introduced myself. I'm Esgar. Yours?
It's big.
I'm Frida.
Hmm.
What did they call me?
Demon Slayer, I think, is the title
The
you're
Bloody
currently.
Demon Slayer.
Yes. Oh. Well, Demon Slayer. That's that could come in
Don't forget
handy.
the bloody part.
That could come in handy. Well then.
Especially if dealing with Ziggofor's hordes.
Indeed. Well, I
So,
don't know if there be any
worth the
demons
wait.
left there, but you never know. Can't be too sure in Rust Brotherlands. Though I'll say this. The rumors of demons in Rust Brotherlands are very exaggerated.
I wouldn't be so sure about that.
Oh, I am an Alderlander myself. I come from down south. Rust Brothers are harmless enough if you don't rub them the wrong way and pay your taxes and do your libations to Rust. There's no problem.
Well, as you're traveling these lands, the rumors of demons are greatly under-exaggerated.
So there you go then.
That's-
Northerners
that's
have
plenty of
demon
cunning and
problems
hide
and
themselves.
Southerners do not. I'll talk to you later then.
Alright.
Frida the Demon Slayer, nice to make your acquaintance. He sort of raises his glass of lemon water and returns to his table.
Civilization has one thing to offer, and this village doesn't.
That's okay. I have a couple bottles of wine from the wedding in my bag.
I would.
Quiet.
They can't take my personal possessions. I didn't buy
They-
it here.
No, but
Technically-
people might crash our party too.
Yes.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, we're heading up to 11 in the evening. That seems to be a very good spot to leave off session 10. And I can tell you, of course, that as so many other times, our story doesn't quite end here. We have an epilogue here tonight again. Because as our brave adventurers have arrived in Westport, word of their deeds are spreading from Fort Riverstone to other parts, and some powerful people will hear about their deeds in this episode. And we'll see.
Oh, that can't be good.
Hey,
Dun, dun.
it's not us.
Hey guys, we're famous.
It's the other two.
Famous.
That's right.
One way or another.
Exactly.
That's right. That squirrel's gonna go and tell all his squirrel buddies.
Right.
So with that, I'll
effing squirrel.
say goodbye to my players, and the audience will get to hear news from Fort Riverstone in a second.
Good evening.
Night night, folks.
Good night.
Night night.
Peaceful
Evening.
journeys.
Thanks for running, Mikhail.
So Zertorm, General in Amber's Peak, is visiting the troops, the riders of Asleen along their riding camp. He must have been informed a little while ago that people are coming in towards the camp. Obviously you have lookouts in high places in the towers that can inform you, allow you to be prepared as you see this little cloud, dust cloud that's kicked up by the riders who are fast approaching the camp.
Alright. I think that Zertorm is going to probably stand in the middle of the yard and await the arrival of the riders. His bearing makes it pretty clear that he expects to talk to them pretty quickly once they get there.
And they will close the distance fast enough. They know that the general is expecting them. And in a big cloud of dust, they all sort of halt their almost galloping horses, bring them to a stop. There's a lot of sound of horse hooves as they all clatter to the end of their journey. Like all Asleen warrior riders, they're dressed in at least leathers or studded leathers, scimitars. Some of them have bows. These are the rest of the riders you will recognize that you sent up to talk to the elves in the Dankwood, the ones that didn't come back yet. And the moment they see Zertorm, their leader will get off the horse and kneel in front of him. My lord.
Captain. As soon as you're prepared, I would like your report.
Of course, immediately, my lord. We just returned from Fort Riverstone. That is where we tarried for so long. The situation there was troubled. I sent a rider ahead before. Must have been here a few days ago.
He was. I took his account in hand and reached for other sources of information as well. I believe I have a picture of what had happened, but I want to know how it stands from you.
Very well. We left a few days ago, and the place was... Things went bad. From bad to worse. Very confusing at the start when we got there. The situation of a demon in the fort. Apparently it was vanquished by some adventurers. And that was all well and good, except it turns out, and we did not know this, that the Raven Sister, who was set to guard this strange tome, it emerged later. Apparently she was Lady Narinda's lover, and Lady Narinda didn't take that well at all, that this Raven Sister had been struck with demons. The captain of the guard is absolutely convinced that all of this is a smear against her person. And that if there was any demon worship, it was only on the part of the Raven Sister and nothing to do with Lady Nirinda. I don't know what to make of it. We only were there for so many days.
Did anyone see this demon?
Not really, no. Only the adventurers, as far as I know.
So, the adventurers arrived, claimed there was a demon, and then killed a Raven Sister.
Yes. Well, we weren't there to see this.
Very well.
We were at the tavern where all this happened. Apparently overnight, they had gotten themselves into the temple of the Raven. And then in the morning, the lady went to see the Raven Sister, and inside were the adventurers. And then something bad happened, and the Raven Sister died. They say she killed herself. At any rate, Lady Nirinda was heartbroken over all this, and well, at least she did decide to join you for the summer's campaign. I should retcon that because they weren't actually there that evening when it happened, but they would have heard the story.
I did receive her message.
Yes. They would have heard the story from the villagers. So retcon that. Be that as it may, she was going to mobilize her troops. She promised us at least half a dozen militia, which is better than nothing. So out of courtesy, we stayed to wait her for doing so. But then it got worse. That night before we left, the town was attacked by goblins to the north. And then apparently the farmers, someone must have stirred them up with all these tales of demons. The rumor that was going that we heard, or some of my people heard, and gestures towards some of the other riders, was that Lady Nirinda was actually trucking with demons together with this Raven Sister. And apparently a great many of the farmers believe this completely. I don't know the truth of it. But at any rate, they were very angry, and they had decided to rise up against the lady. So they did. It was well organized, though, I have to say. They had access to spears, axes. And they were led by a halfling, rumor says. Being attacked, we were caught in the middle of this. You have to know. We were guests for the lady. We had lodgings in the keep. The keep was attacked by goblins. Of course we helped as well as we could. It was a long night, let me tell you, my lord. Goblins, angry farmers, and then when we thought everything was calming down, Saurians came as well. I think the whole thing was very well planned, whoever was behind this. Too many things happening at once for it to be coincidence, my lord, I'd say. Fires started everywhere, including in the keep. We managed to put them out. And then in the morning, when everything was said and done, well, the captain of the guards, during all this mayhem, found the lady imprisoned in her own dungeon, and she nearly burned to death. He managed to save her, though. And so when we left in the morning, she was in her bedchamber being cared for by whomever could. It was a sorry sight, let me tell you. Many of the houses have burned down, lots of destruction, many dead. A lot of farmers are leaving the area too. They don't want to say it's a cursed place. So that's when we felt it was a good time to get back to you, my lord. Bring you the tidings.
I've had some time to think on this. It saddens me to hear the farmers are leaving. But I've compared my notes along with what you've brought here. And I've come to the conclusion that sadly Fort Riverstone was infested with assassins who planned sedition from the start. No one saw this deed. The accusations only came from the adventurers, who I understand have since disappeared. After the only other witness, the legal ruler of their land, was assassinated. It's clear the Rust brothers had more advanced tactics, that they're no longer just on the battlefield, that they seek to create rot from within.
That would make sense.
And that is troubling.
That would make sense, my lord, for sure.
I'm most worried about this halfling whose honeyed lies took advantage of the faith of the goblins, the trust that humans naturally feel, and the passion of the Saurians. If she's found, I want her brought to me.
Yes, my lord.
I think the only responsible thing to do is to take control of Fort Riverstone ourselves. To institute order. And if some of the various numbers there, whether human, goblin, or Saurian, discover how they've been used, how they've been manipulated, how many died in service to the Rust Brothers' lies. If they seek to join our cause, I would understand that.
Yes, my lord. Shall I sound assembly? How many do you want to send?
I believe I will have to talk to the leaders of every group myself.
Of course.
Assemble 20 troops.
Yes, my lord.
We should be able to institute order fairly quickly.
The
And
captain
once
of the guards in Fort Riverstone, good man, seems to me. Obviously very angry with all this, and I think maybe he was a bit too proud to admit it, but I think he wants help. I think he just judging by the look, you know, sir, after a long, hard night, and you can't see the end of it, I think he could use some extra hands. He had, well, I think they lost at least half of their strength that night, the garrison, and he has, I don't know how many might leave him now, just due to defections and desertion. He should have at least half a dozen still with him, but how do you hold a fort with such a scant crew?
we'll cauterize the wounds. And if we can, unify the area. It seems to me the problem so far has been that they are disconnected, disparate, that they don't have the common foe that I recognize. Loss is inevitable. I'm very familiar with those long nights you speak of. But they can ignite a fire in you. We will hold Fort Riverstone. They and we will grow stronger for it. And the Rust Brothers will pay for what they have done.
Yes, my lord. There you can see the flames of hatred against the Rust Brothers, the conviction in his eyes. He will get to his feet and order the sounding of the bugle as quickly as possible, and there will be a great many riders running to get their gear and prepare their horses.
Well, I'm riding Pyraxia, so I'm going to have to go and get me a Pyraxia.
Exactly. All right, I think that might be.
I think probably the last sound is Pyraxia's lizard roar across as Zertorm comes riding out on him.
Yep, yeah, and of course, when that happens, there will be a great deal of cheer among the troops. Any tensions and conflicts and sort of lost the word. Any tensions and friction between the Quards and the Galdanes are quickly forgotten when Zertorm comes out with Paraxia, for sure. It's the kind of unifying symbol that keeps them together instead of... And this type of thing also is good for morale, because now they have something to work with instead of just bickering with each other.
Keep them busy.
Exactly. All right. That's end scene, eh?
Works for me.